transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Thursday, April 4, 2024. Former ECJ chairman says decision to subsume political ombudsman office into the ECJ is the worst electoral decision since independence. JC Old Boys to stage demonstration as they press for the resignation of the Lance Hilton-led board. The three soldiers charged with the murder of businessman Keith Clark will go on trial this month. VertiCast, a media group, sues Flow and Digicel for alleged anti-competitive practices. In regional news, over 200 people have died in prison in El Salvador since the government began its war against gangs in 2022. In international news, NATO marks its 75th anniversary today. In sports, Jamaica lose in the West Indies Rising Stars Under-15 Championships. And in business, VIP Attractions Limited expands its departure lounge facilities at Club Bay inside the Sangster International Airport. The details after the break.
Jumpstart your fitness goals with Express Fitness. Sign up today and restart your fitness journey at an Express Fitness location near you. Enjoy safe, comfortable, and well-equipped gyms from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Call 554-5180 for a full listing of our open locations. Express Fitness. Express Fitness. Your goal, our mission.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Former chairman of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica ECJ, Professor Errol Miller, says legislatively the subsuming of the office of the political ombudsman into the ECJ is the worst electoral decision since independence. Professor Miller used the closing of his keynote address at the 60th Annual Jamaica Teachers Association Conference to register his criticism.
Just prior to the local government elections, Parliament passed an amendment to the Electoral Commission Interim Act of 2006 that subsumed the functions of the political ombudsman into the Election Commission and made every electoral commissioner ombudsman or ombudswoman. This is by far the worst legislation affecting electoral laws passed by the Jamaican Parliament since becoming a nation in 1962. It has no equal.
While apologizing for using the forum to raise what has been a contentious political issue, Professor Miller proceeded to characterize the decision as dishonor to all who worked towards political independence, including the nation's teachers. The ECJ was formed in 2006, replacing the Electoral Advisory Committee, EAC. Professor Miller was its first chairman. He says the amendment drags the ECJ's commissioners into direct involvement with partisan politics.
adjudicating complaints of intemperate speech, silly public behavior, disputes about color, posters, paraphernalia, and graffiti in a period of heightened political partisan bravado and emotions in election campaigning, and without any sanctions to apply to deviance, is likely to diminish respect for both the Electoral Commission and its commissioners. In the past, the political ombudsman, while doing some good, was ignored by some candidates and their agents who defied their rulings, disregarded agreements reached, violated codes of conduct, all without consequence. To bring such impunity into the Electoral Commission is grossly unwise.
Professor Errol Miller, former chairman of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. Meanwhile, Professor Miller says it's hard to see the benefit to the Jamaican people of making ECJ commissioners referees in the tribal game of party politics.
Making the electoral commissioners a collective, I call the Ombuds Massive, 4 of whom can be removed at any time by the Prime Minister, is an innovation with little precedent and very high risk, despite good intentions by all. You know, we lionize change, but change must be for the better, not for the worse. The 4 selected commissioners could easily be compromised in their role in the constituted authority and also performing the role of political ombudsman.
Professor Miller says given the new arrangement, ECJ commissioners are in a position where it's easy for them to bring the organization into disrepute during election season.
You see, the constituted authority, and you might not know much about this body, but the constituted authority comes into being the day following the announcement of an election, and it remains in force for 6 months. Now, should a political event occur, especially before nomination day and up to election day, selected commissioners would be embroiled. I'm not going to call it conflict of interest, but conflict of office. No less than if a cabinet minister is found to be involved in open violence and social disturbance. The 2 things by law are not supposed to happen.
Professor Errol Miller, former chairman of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Leighton Johnson, says that the Education Ministry's current funding model for schools is outdated. Mr. Johnson was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday during the JTA's 60th anniversary lecture held in Duncan's Trelawney. Abigail Bartley reports.
According to the JTA president, the Education Ministry must ensure that funding provided to schools across the island is in line with the needs of the institutions. He explained that in the current funding model, the ministry provides grants to schools on an annual basis. Schools at the primary level receive $2,500 per student per year, while secondary level institutions receive up to $19,000 per student. Mr. Johnson says this model, which has been in effect since 2016, has outlived its usefulness.
The fact is, in the dispensation that we are operating, the approach to the whole matter of funding education is, I believe, one that has outlived its useful purpose at this time. Of course, the Ministry of Education will indicate that, yes, there is some semblance of a per capita model that is being used when you look at the $2,500 at the primary level, as well as the $19,000 or up to $19,000 per student at the secondary level per year.
He says the ministry should take note of learning institutions which require more financial assistance than others.
We have to move away from equality to a place of equity, to understand that some schools need more than the other.
Absolutely.
And on that basis, once we identify the core functions of the school to get the student to where they need to be, then the funding arrangement has to be improved where that is concerned.
Mr. Johnson asserted that the funds provided to students from the ministry is severely inadequate.
Of course, we will continue to advocate that there is the urgent need for us to revisit the amount totally. So the $2,500 per student at the primary level is shameful. It is shameful. And at the secondary level, the $19,000 is still woefully inadequate. If you were to make that comparison to any other first world jurisdiction or any other developing jurisdiction, you'll see that this is woefully lacking.
Abigail Bartley for Nationwide News.
Principal of Jamaica College and former JTA President Howard Isaacs says more needs to be done to cure what he says is a worrying trend of disengaged students island-wide. Mr. Isaacs was speaking on day 2 of the JTA's 60th anniversary lecture held at the Ocean Coral Spring Hotel in Duncan's Trelawney.
One of the things that has had me sitting up at night looking in the ceiling, Cliff, is how can I engage my students? What can we do different? Because since COVID, things have changed. And that's a concern I have. I've been in the system from 1986 as a trained teacher, still in my teenage years, 19 years old. And I've never seen students so disengaged. And that's a challenge that I am having now, to find strategies and ways in which I can use to get my students to be more engaged.
Mr. Isaacs says today's students are only concerned with passing classes and graduating as opposed to participating in extracurricular activities. He wants to see strategies implemented to help change this reality.
We try our utmost to offer scholarships to students, right? So, for example, the cohort that is doing our computer electronics program there, they came in on a full scholarship. We found funding from somewhere else to provide scholarship for them. And one of the things that I recognize is that sometimes their involvement in activities outside of the curriculum, the core curricular activities that makes them what you and I are, sometimes I get the view that they are not as involved as I'd want them to be.
They just want to do enough to get the certificate.
Get the certificate.
Oh dear.
And that's a concern that I see right across the colleges. So we have to find some strategies, some mechanism to get them a bit more involved where they can see learning experience more than just the academic.
Howard Isaacs, principal of Jamaica College and former president of the Jamaica Teachers Association. The 3 members of the Jamaica Defense Force, JDF, charged with the murder of businessman Keith Clark will go on trial on April 15. The decision was made on Wednesday following several weeks of private submissions to presiding judge Justice Dale Palmer. The preliminary hearing, which is conducted without a jury, is formally known as a voir dire. Clark was shot 21 times at his home in Kirkland Heights, St. Andrew on May 27, 2010 during a military operation in search of the now convicted drug lord Christopher Dudus Coke. Shaloy Smikler reports.
The soldiers, Corporal Odell Buckley, Lance Corporal Greg Tinglin, and Private Arnold Henry, are jointly charged with the 2010 murder of businessman Keith Clark. The criminal proceedings were first initiated in July 2012 by the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, Paul Llewellyn. But they stalled in 2018 after it was disclosed that certificates of immunity were granted to the soldiers by then Minister of National Security, Peter Bunting. Those certificates shielding the soldiers from prosecution were signed 6 years after the incident. They certified that the actions of the soldiers, which may have contributed to or caused the death of Clark, was done in good faith for public safety. But in February 2020, the Constitutional Court ruled that the certificates were manifestly unfair and unreasonable. The matter was restored to the trial list in January 2023 following a ruling by the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal ordered the preliminary hearing to determine whether the DPP can rebut the certificates of good faith. DPP Llewellyn says the Crown is ready to proceed.
The judge did rule in favor of the Crown in that the good faith certificate would not be a bar to the Crown proceeding against the accused in a trial. The Crown has been ready for a few years, but the matter went through judicial review, then to the Court of Appeal, and now, after this preliminary hearing has been completed, the court has ruled, and we did indicate that we are ready to proceed to trial.
But at least one defense attorney, King's Counsel Valerie Robertson, has indicated her intent to appeal the ruling.
DPP Llewellyn says that would be an abuse of the process of the court.
In our view, that would be an abuse of the process of the court, as the Court of Appeal has already pronounced on the matter, indicating that if it was that after the preliminary hearings the judge was to find in favor of the prosecution, then the matter was to continue on to trial, and the Crown is ready.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
The Jamaica College, older boys and members of the school community are demanding the resignation of the new board led by Chairman Lance Hilton. A spokesman for the old boys is Peter Blake. He issued a statement to the media on Wednesday night. According to the statement, stakeholders are upset in the wake of a number of serious admissions made during a Zoom meeting of the old boys on Sunday, March 24, to discuss the ongoing legal issues between the school and former JC Old Boys Association President Major Basil Jarrett. Among the group's grievances is an admission by JC Trust Chairman Derek Jones during the meeting that he did in fact receive a set of financial statements in 2022 after long denying ever doing so. Jones, Hilton, and acting JC Principal Wayne Robinson sued Jarrett in 2022 for an account of how monies raised from the sale of uniforms were used, suggesting impropriety on Jarrett's part. The Zoom meeting was also released to the media.
I received a copy of a set of financial statements as part of a reminder from Major Jarrett about attending a Jamaica College Old Boys Association meeting. The report of which they speak and the email that you see on the screen is in response to the fact that Major Jarrett was inviting people to attend a JC Old Boys Association meeting. And in that notice, there were 5 pages of figures. Did I get a copy of that email? Yes. Is that the same thing as Major Jarrett?
Oh, you suddenly got a copy of it.
That's not what he said.
Major.
That is a different thing from saying that Major Jarrett has provided the account to the school.
No.
Major Basil Jarrett, former JC Old Boys Association President, and before him JC Trust Chairman Derek Jones. Major Jarrett had insisted that not only were the funds raised given to JC during COVID, but that a full set of independently audited financial statements were provided to the school. Last month, the Supreme Court dismissed the claim against Major Jarrett and ordered that Robinson pay his legal fees. It's understood that Board Chairman Lance Hilton filed an appeal to the Supreme Court without consulting with the school's board for approval. According to Mr. Blake, the resignation of Lance Hilton and the entire JC board is necessary if JC is to make full restitution to Major Jarrett for the embarrassment, distress, and reputational harm caused. And in news just in, the police say they're still compiling the details and are unable to confirm the number of deceased in a horrific crash in the vicinity of Pearly Beach in Oteria, St. Anne on Wednesday night. Reports on social media say at least 3 people died in the motor vehicle crash, which involved at least 4 vehicles, including a Nissan AD wagon and a Range Rover. Videos of the crash scene showed the Range Rover upside down and the AD wagon crushed. We'll have the information or more details as it becomes available. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
The Leaders Conference of Choice is back on site at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and online. Register now for Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Call 876-978-60012 or visit www.makeyourmarkgroup.com. Sponsored by Make Your Mark Group, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, JPS, Intelligent Multimedia Limited, Monographic Printers, Main Event Entertainment Group, Nationwide News Network, and Visual Tech Solutions. Middle Managers Conference, May 1 to 2, 2024. Sign up at www.makeyourmarkgroup.com.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, at least 241 people have died in prisons in El Salvador since the start of President Nayib Bukele's war on gangs 2 years ago. That's according to the organization Humanitarian Legal Relief. The rights organization says it received 500 reports of deaths in state custody, but they have confirmed about half, including 2 minors. Last year, the organization documented 126 deaths, just half of the number they documented this year. In March 2022, Bukele announced a state of exception, waiving many constitutional rights to combat the gangs that have terrorized the Central American nation. Since then, El Salvador has arrested 80,000 people, more than 1% of the population, throwing them into prison, often with little evidence of ties to gangs and almost no access to due process. The prisons have been likened to torture chambers with horrifying conditions. In international news now, NATO today marks 75 years of collective defense across Europe and North America. The anniversary comes as the now 32-nation alliance weighs a plan to provide more predictable, longer-term military support to Ukraine. In a ceremony to mark the day, hundreds of staffers filled the vast air terminal-like space at the center of NATO's sprawling Brussels headquarters. Scores of others looked down from glassed walkways and stairways as Belgian and Dutch military bands played the NATO hymn, the original Washington Treaty laid before them. NATO's founding treaty was signed on April 4, 1949 in Washington, D.C. A bigger celebration is planned when NATO leaders meet in D.C. from July 9 to 11. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports. And now to morning sports, but just before going to morning sports, George, our deputy executive editor, has an update on that crash last evening in St. Anne.
Right, so the police... Morning listeners, morning viewers, the police just confirming that 2 people were killed in that crash along the Duns River Main Road, they say, but still in the vicinity of Pearly Beach in St. Anne on Wednesday night. They say the incident happened about 8:30 p.m., 4-vehicle crash, and they've confirmed that the deceased are Christopher White, he's 55 years old, a vendor, and 42-year-old Kareen Browning, she's from Thompson Pen in St. Catherine. So 55-year-old Christopher White and 42-year-old Kareen Browning killed in that crash along the Duns River Main Road last evening. And the police also confirmed that an infant, a 22-month-old, suffered serious injuries in the crash and was taken to hospital. A 22-month-old girl. The information is they're unsure, though, of her condition at this time. So those were the casualties confirmed and the one serious injury coming out of that crash last evening.
Yeah. Turning our attention now to sports.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hackley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Now time for your morning sports. Jamaica's Danian Parchment and Udit Hamilton have been selected by FIFA to officiate this summer's Paris Olympics. The FIFA Referees Committee has appointed 89 match officials, 21 referees, 42 assistant referees, 20 video match officials, and 6 support referees from 45 countries to officiate matches at the Olympic football tournaments in Paris this summer. Parchment will work as a video match official, while Hamilton has been selected as support staff. The women's tournament will commence on July 25 and conclude with the gold medal match on August 10. The men's competition will begin on July 24, while the gold medal match will take place on August 9. Liverpool will look to retake the lead in the English Premier League when they welcome struggling Sheffield United to Anfield this afternoon at 1:30. But Jurgen Klopp will once again have to make do without several key first-team players. Andrew Robertson, Alisson and Trent Alexander-Arnold are all out injured. As many as 9 members of the first-team squad could be unavailable. Meanwhile, an intriguing battle takes centre stage at Stamford Bridge as Chelsea play host to Manchester United. Both Mauricio Pochettino and Eric Ten Hag are under immense pressure to turn their club's fortunes around as they endeavour to meet their respective European targets with just 9 games left to play. Just a solitary point was claimed by both clubs against relegation-threatened teams last weekend, with the Chelsea pegged back twice to draw 2-2 at home to 10-man Burnley a few hours before Manchester United conceded in the 99th minute to draw 1-1 at Brentford. St. Lucian sprinter Julian Alfred is expected to receive a hero's welcome when she visits her homeland on Friday. Alfred won many fans with her performance at the World Athletics Indoor Championships 2024. She clocked a season's best 6.98 seconds to win the 60 meters final. Joseph Reds Pereira says the government of St. Lucia will be rolling out the red carpet.
Well, the government has been working very hard here in St. Lucia to get her home on a short visit after winning our world title. And they are mobilizing the population to line the streets from the airport all the way down to Castries to give them a real hero's welcome. On the 6th, she will be at Olympic House in Castries, where she will have another welcome reception. And during her short stay, it is expected that the government of St. Lucia will announce the Julian Alfred Foundation.
Joseph Reds Pereira wrapping up your morning sports.
Jumpstart your fitness goals with Express Fitness. Sign up today and restart your fitness journey at an Express Fitness location near you. Enjoy safe, comfortable, and well-equipped gyms from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Call 554-5180 for a full listing of our open locations. Express Fitness. Express Fitness. Your goal, our mission.
In business this morning, VIP Attractions Limited says it has successfully expanded its departure lounge facilities at Club Mabay inside the Sangster International Airport. VIP Attractions is a world-renowned, multi-award-winning airport concierge and lounge service company operating lounges in Jamaica's 2 international airports. Its CEO, Tanya Beckford, says the expansion reflects their dedication to meeting the evolving needs of guests and creating memorable experiences that exceed expectations. Meanwhile, the operators were congratulated by MBJ Airports Limited. CEO of MBJ Airports, Shane Monroe, says the development is a timely complement to the expansion works underway at the airport and is in line with a significant investment to better serve passengers and accommodate the increasing demands of air travel. Now, technology giant Amazon has announced job cuts affecting hundreds of staff at its cloud computing business. Amazon Web Services, AWS, has been growing and now represents 14% of Amazon's total revenue. That's according to its latest financial report. The company has been shifting its strategy with physical stores, Amazon Fresh, which were launched in 2020. On Tuesday, it said it would remove its self-checkout system called Just Walkout from all the stores. The firm said the latest job cuts impact several hundred roles in sales, marketing, and global services, and a few hundred roles in its physical stores technology team. Finally, now in foreign exchange trading, the Jamaican dollar has lost 6 cents and will open trading this morning, selling for an average $155.24 against the benchmark US dollar. The Jamaican dollar has lost 32 cents against the Canadian and will open trading today, selling for an average $115.29. And finally, the Jamaican dollar has lost 65 cents and will open trading today, selling for an average $194.88 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
For all your musical needs, visit the Music Mart, the most complete music store in Jamaica. Telephone 876-960-7712. The time brought to you by the Music Mart is
6:31.
Your taxes hold the key.
TAJ, through its annual Special Taxpayer Assistance Program, STAP, will host tax advisory, taxpayer education sessions, and webinars island-wide for micro and small business persons to help them meet their annual obligations for filing income tax returns to meet the March 15 deadline. Visit our website at jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-TAX-HELP for details. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Real estate dealers and salesmen, this year's licensing period is almost here. Skip the hassle and take advantage of the Real Estate Board's new direct online client portal payment platform. Go to our client portal and create an account to get started. Whether you're paying license fees, penalties, or continuing professional development courses, status notifications give you the peace of mind that your payments were successful, and emails with meeting links for your courses. Use the Real Estate Board's new client portal payment platform. Get on with the business of turning houses into homes.
Emotions and feelings. corresponding in love, compatible. You can't get around it no matter how hard you try. You better believe it. And if you should find out that you are no different than I, reply. We are the same person. I believe you be. We are same universal world. The only difference I can see is in the conscience and the shade of the skin. Doesn't matter. We laugh, we chatter, don't we smile? We all have hope in the feelings that make all those faces always renew. So true, so true. And would you believe that I have all those same feelings too? Same as you. We all are one. We are the same person.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, the big show. Thank you so much for coming on over. Over 1,400 of you. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us in this space this morning. Very, very, very happy to have you. As all of us normally say, Saeed, or listeners or viewers, they have choices. But, they choose to come back here daily, join us, engage with us, listen to our views as well as interviews as we provide them with information on matters of public interest. I'm Tawna Thomas.
I'm Saeed Bernard. Top of the morning to you, our listeners, viewers. You heard me? Because I'm not hearing myself. I don't
You
know.
do sound low.
Yeah. I'm not hearing anything, actually. But yeah, top of the morning to our listeners, our viewers, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. It's a top of the morning to you, Tawna. It's been a good week so far. The traffic not so bad because the kids are in school.
Or are out of school.
Well, yes, out of school.
Yeah.
So, people are continuing that petition to keep the kids in school just to ensure that there's no traffic on the road. Always a very funny thing when they say it. Always very interesting when they say it. So,
Keeping the kids out of school?
yeah, because it's a joke because every time school is out. Yeah, that sounds sounds like I'm back. Yeah. So every time school is out, there's no traffic on the road. So you'll always see on Twitter, we should just keep the kids outside of school so that we can, free up the roads. Yeah, so they're always petitioning.
Isolated interest.
So they're always petitioning, of course, for giggles to say, let's just not have school. Let them just go back online like in COVID so we can have the road to ourselves. I always find it very funny. But on the sad side of things, Tawna, viewers, listeners, that road accident with the 3 vehicles.
3 or 4, yes.
Yeah. Somebody was just, saw a video and the person was just saying, it's just bodies on bodies. Bodies on bodies. And it reminds me how oftentimes we can take life for granted. And how usually during this period, the Easter period, there's always this call and this ask. Easter period, the Heroes Weekend period especially as well. There's always this call and this strong ask to just be careful on the roads. I mean, we're on the back end of the Easter season, but please, we're begging you, please, nobody rush gone away. Take your time. You're done late already.
Yeah.
Yeah? Be safe on the roads. It just isn't worth it. The 2 minutes of this adrenaline, the fast driving and all of that, it's really not worth it, yeah? And you have your whole life ahead of you. And so, send my condolences to the families of those 6 persons. Can't be hard. Can't be hard at all. Can't be hard can't be easy. Can't be easy.
Yeah. So
cannot be easy.
We were telling our listeners earlier that the police have been able to confirm that 2 people died and that in that four-vehicle crash that you're speaking of, a 55-year-old man and a 42-year-old woman. And we were also reporting that a 22-month-old girl was injured in the incident and remains in hospital.
But you know, Tana, this is not what is on my mind. But I have to ask because I want some help with it. I don't know if you can give me some insight. But what is it with Jamaicans and this flirtation with death?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's I don't have the answer
really,
to.
like, what is it? Every time, for example, the bike riders, yeah, they're always wheeling, doing some something. And when you talk to them, you know, because one of them so happens to be a client of mine, and I say, why they keep on doing it? And he doesn't have an answer, really.
Yeah.
You know, for him, it's just the style of riding the bike.
And speaking of the riders, I'm not sure if you saw a video posted on social media over the weekend where a motorcyclist was on the roof of what appears to be a shop.
Oh?
Yeah, and he just rode off the roof. Of course, you know what happened next. You know, he was unconscious on the ground. And the bike, you know, was over on the other side of a little field. Yeah. Now, why would you do that? Why would you ride off a roof? Does that make any sense? What did you think was going to happen? You're going to get wings?
Land on the two wheels.
No, you're going to get wings and fly?
You ride off the roof and you land on the two wheels, and then you get a celebration, and then the community sees you as this big bike rider. But it's just not worth it. You know, I just cannot understand this need to flirt with death. I don't know what they get from it. I really don't know what they get from it. But what's on my mind, Tana, is about a woman, her beacon of service, and her dedication to the Jamaican Parliament. And in the heart of Jamaica's parliamentary chambers, amidst the bustling corridors of legislative democracy, stands at the start of it a figure whose commitment and dedication have shone brightly for nearly 3 decades. Valerie Curtis, a stalwart of parliamentary service, has not only navigated the intricate corridors of power, but has also left an indelible mark on the institution she serves. Curtis embarked on her parliamentary journey in 1995, stepping into the role of assistant clerk with a quiet determination and unwavering resolve. Over the years, she honed her skills, demonstrating a keen understanding of parliamentary procedure and an unparalleled dedication to duty. Her diligence and professionalism did not go unnoticed, and in 2006, she ascended to the position of deputy clerk under the tutelage of her predecessor, Shirley Lewis. Now, as deputy clerk, Curtis's leadership shone brightly, guiding the parliamentary proceedings with grace and precision. Her astute management and unwavering commitment to upholding the integrity of the institution earned her respect and the admiration of colleagues and lawmakers alike. In recognition of her outstanding service, Curtis was conferred with the Badge of Honor for meritorious service in 2014 and the Order of Distinction Commander Class in 2020 for her contributions to the Houses of Parliament of Jamaica. And ladies and gentlemen, these prestigious accolades, to my mind, underscores the exceptional dedication and unwavering commitment to her ideas of democracy and public service. In 2021, her lifelong dream, as she puts it, was realized when she was appointed clerk to the Houses of Parliament, the pinnacle of her illustrious career. And with this appointment, she assumed the helm of the parliamentary administration, entrusted with the responsibility of safeguarding the democratic process and ensuring the smooth functioning of the legislative body. Throughout her tenure, Curtis served under 4 prime ministers, weathering the winds of political change with poise and professionalism. She has worked alongside 7 speakers, providing invaluable support and guidance to successive leaders of the House. And amidst the ebb and flow of political tides, Curtis has remained steadfast, her unwavering commitment to public service serving as a beacon of inspiration to all who have had the privilege of working alongside her. And certainly, we know of the unfortunate situation concerning this letter sent to the good clerk by the current Speaker of the House. And an attempt to place such thing on record certainly should not be seen as any impediment on the good clerk. In any event, that's on the Speaker's head, and it's a thorn she has to bear thereon as she carries the cross of the gavel. But make no mistake, Valerie Curtis has been excellent throughout her tenure. I asked around about the good clerk, and as much as it is hearsay, it's admissible in my court this morning, Tana. Her contributions to the Jamaican Parliament extend far beyond her official duties. She was a mentor, a confidant, a source of wisdom for those who sought her counsel. And her dedication to the principles of democracy, her unwavering commitment to the people of Jamaica, is a testament to her character and integrity. And many might wonder why I speak about Valerie Curtis this morning, because I see it time and time again. As a civil servant, Tana, it is not easy to serve in the public's eye. And she has done that for nearly 3 decades. I am from a generation where if you get us to stay for 3 years, you've done good. She has been there for almost 30 years, serving in the public eye. And I personally want to thank her and commend her for her service to this country and to the parliamentary chambers. And so, as she steps into what I call the golden sun of her retirement, she has a legacy, and it stands for her unwavering dedication and her exemplary service in the noble pursuit of a more and just and equitable society. Her commitment to the principles of democracy for almost 30 years is a major feat in my eyes. And so, as she bid farewell to the hallowed halls of the Parliament, I commend her remarkable journey with exuberance and joy. And may her well-deserved retirement be a symphony of laughter, adventure, and newfound freedom as she embraces the next chapter of her life with open arms and boundless enthusiasm. And so I want to say to Valerie Curtis this morning, cheers to you, ma'am. You've done your time at the wicket, and now it's time to go enjoy yourself. Almost 30 years in one organization, at one institution. That's a major feat to my mind. That's what's on my mind.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
13 minutes to 7 o'clock.
Eliminate the hassle of managing multiple medications that can be confusing. Thanks to Houghton's Pharmacy. Introducing RX Pack, a mobile app available in the App Store and Google Play Store. RX Pack is specially designed for you to order and manage your medications. Download today for free. That's RX Pack for better medication management. Call 876-RX-0-RX-RX or visit our website, HoughtonsRx.com for more details.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales for a better choice in the electrical business.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. 3 parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Eleven minutes going up to 7 o'clock, and it's time for Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning time, side council, and Donna. Good morning.
Hey to you, Ludlow.
All right. The listeners, the motoring public, and visitors. It's a bright and sunny morning. Of little bit, maybe some serious clouds above, but nothing to be alarmed about. But situation, depending on where you are, I can tell you from now, New Kingston flowing. New Kingston in the vicinity of Trafalgar Road, whether you're heading out to Hope Road or heading towards the Musgrave Road. It's a little busy, but no delays. As one to light changes there, okay. Waterloo, I can tell you now, it's building from as far as just as you cross over South Avenue and coming towards, just past the Devon House complex there. A lot of long lines heading towards, going across the Trafalgar Road. And crossing that intersection of Hope and Trafalgar Road. Going into Apathy Road is already busy via Hope Road, going across to Apathy Road and then onto Hagley Park Road. But if you're on the northbound side of Waterloo, going all the way to Upper Waterloo, you won't have much problem at all. It's really free-flowing. As in a lot of other areas, it's actually free-flowing at the moment, so you won't experience much delay until maybe by the time we get to our second report. So far, so good. And I'm happy to report that some work is being done on Mountain View Avenue. You know, they started patching the roads, and that was really in a bad state. Not so sure about the intersection yet of Mountain View and Windward Road, but I can tell you, in the vicinity of like Tucker Avenue, going further down past Roxborough Avenue, there's some work was done. All right, so good to know. It's our first report for the morning. Yes, on the bright and sunny conditions. Be careful of that sun as you make your way eastward. All right, so until 7:18, it's back to you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ludlow. That's Street Smart. Up next, Tana has your word of the day.
Your word of the day, spelled U-M-B-R-A-G-E, spelled U-M-B-R-A-G-E.
Umbrage. Umbrage. Umbrage.
Umbrage, one you're familiar with. It's a noun and it means offense, annoyance, or displeasure. Umbrage, U-M-B-R-A-G-E, first recorded around 1400, between 1400 and 1450, was when this word was first recorded into English, and the use of it in a sentence this morning provided by dictionary.com. The professor's umbrage at the student's disrespectful behavior was palpable during his class. Another for you, his sarcastic remark caused her to take umbrage and storm out of the room in anger. It means offense, annoyance, displeasure. It's a noun, umbrage. Up next, your features at the top of the hour, the news.
Aging and the problems associated with old age are particularly relevant to persons with Down's syndrome. Some of these age-related problems develop earlier in the life of a person with Down's syndrome than would normally be the case. Adults with Down syndrome experience accelerated aging. Simply put, they experience certain conditions and physical features that are common to typically aging adults at an earlier age. It's not fully clear why this happens, but it's largely believed to be related to genes, chromosome 21 that are associated with the aging process. This chromosome is important because Down syndrome is characterized by a third full or partial copy of the 21st chromosome. In Coming of Age today, we look at some of the common medical conditions individuals with Down syndrome experience throughout adulthood and as they age. Adults with Down syndrome experience sensory loss in the eyes and ears. Adults with Down syndrome are at risk of early cataracts and keratoconus. Cataracts cause a clouding of the lens of the eye, producing blurry and impaired vision. Keratoconus causes the round cornea to become cone-shaped, which can lead to a distortion of vision. Both of these conditions can be screened for by an eye doctor and should be assessed regularly. Adults with Down syndrome are at high risk for conductive hearing loss. In addition, they tend to have small ear canals and frequently have earwax buildup that can impair hearing. Routine ear examinations can assess wax buildup and assess hearing loss. Undiagnosed sensory impairments are frequently mistaken as stubbornness, confusion, or disorientation in adults with Down syndrome. These conditions are quite common and when properly identified can be greatly improved with glasses, hearing aids, ear cleanings, and environmental adaptations. Adults with Down syndrome are at high risk of developing hypothyroidism. Thyroid dysfunction is common in adults with Down syndrome and can lead to symptoms of fatigue, mental sluggishness, weight fluctuations, and irritability. Thyroid dysfunction is easily detected via a screening blood test that can be performed by a primary care doctor, and the treatment will usually include taking thyroid medication that regulates abnormal hormone levels. People with Down syndrome are at a higher risk for osteoporosis. This is especially so if they suffer from immobility, low body mass, family history of osteoporosis, early menopause, or long-time exposure to certain anti-seizure medications. Osteoporosis is screened for via a bone density test and can be treated through medication as well as other exercise and lifestyle modifications. Adults with Down syndrome are at high risk of early onset Alzheimer's disease. The early onset of Alzheimer's is more common in adults with Down syndrome than in the general population. It is important to be aware of the connection between Down syndrome and Alzheimer's disease so that proper surveillance can be done to look for signs or symptoms of the disease. Persons with Down syndrome are at increased risk of developing obstructive sleep apnea. Signs of possible sleep apnea include snoring, gasping noises, daytime sleepiness, morning fatigue, or difficulty getting out of bed, excessive napping, and fragmented sleep. Left untreated, sleep apnea leads to symptoms of irritability, poor concentration, behavior changes, and impaired attention. It also puts a strain on the heart and the lungs and causes high blood pressure. Sleep apnea can be detected via a sleep study performed at a sleep lab, or in some cases, sleep testing can be arranged in the home. To help someone with Down syndrome stay healthy as they grow older, make sure they get regular checkups and are able to communicate about their medical health. That's it for Coming of Age today.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
You're moving into a new apartment for the first time. If you're uncertain what to do, I've got you covered. Hi, I'm Tana, and it's time for your lifestyle pages. When you get to your new apartment, walk around and observe your surroundings. Get to know the place. Inside your apartment, use damp newspaper to clean all your mirrors. It leaves a nice shine. Check to see how many electrical outlets are in your space. Then you will know if you need to purchase any extension cords. Give your bathroom a full cleaning because bathroom tiles might be dirty, among other things. Check for internet connections. If there's none, visit your internet service provider. We can't live without the Wi-Fi. Buy wallpaper.
but not to use for your wall, but actually in your drawers. And never forget those mothballs. Gotta ward off those insects while you keep your clothes fresh. And remember to make the space your own. Hang your curtains and give each room personality. That's all for now on your lifestyle pages. I'm Tana.
News on the go. The latest stories from Jamaica and around the world are literally a finger tap away. Keep up to date with Team Revolution 24 hours a day online via nationwideradiojm.com. Listen live, read the latest stories, hear every soundbite. Be a part of the vibrant online debate via Facebook and Twitter. Now you can get all your favorite premium nationwide content at your convenience. Visit the Android Play Store and download it for free today. NationwideRadioJM.com. All day, every day. Team Revolution.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Help someone today. One act of kindness can go a far way. The time by the Jamaica Information Service is
7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 for this morning, Thursday, April 4, 2024. A man and a woman are dead and a 22-month-old girl is in hospital after a 4-vehicle crash on the Duns River Main Road in St. Anne. Former ECJ chairman says decision to subsume the political ombudsman's office into the ECJ is the worst electoral decision since independence. The 3 soldiers charged with the murder of businessman Keith Clark will go on trial this month, and VertiCast Media sues Flow and Digicel for alleged anti-competitive practices. And in international news, NATO marks its 75th anniversary on Thursday today.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The police have confirmed that 2 people were killed in a 4-vehicle crash along the Duns River Main Road in St. Anne on Wednesday evening. Dead are 55-year-old Christopher White, a vendor, and 42-year-old Karine Browning of Thompson Pen District in St. Catherine. A 22-month-old girl was injured in the incident, which happened about 8:30 p.m., and she remains in hospital this morning. The crash, which involved 4 vehicles, including a Range Rover and a Nissan AD wagon, happened in the vicinity of Pearly Beach. Audio captured from videos recorded by motorists at the scene tell part of the story, and parts of the audio suggest that some of the people who were first on the scene took some of the belongings of those involved in the crash.
Yeah, man. Range up here, so. The Ranger man on the top. Yeah, my boss. See the Ranger man on the top. I just had the car at night. Taxi at night. Seriously, go on, brother. Seriously. Somebody take out, them take out and gone.
Former chairman of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, Professor Errol Miller, says legislatively the subsuming of the Office of the Political Ombudsman into the ECJ is the worst electoral decision since independence. Professor Miller used the closing of his keynote address at the 60th Annual Jamaica Teachers Association Conference to register his criticism.
Just prior to the local government elections, Parliament passed an amendment to the Electoral Commission Interim Act of 2006 that subsumed the functions of the political ombudsman into the election commission and made every electoral commissioner ombudsman or ombudswoman. This is by far the worst legislation affecting electoral laws passed by the Jamaican Parliament since becoming a nation in 1962. It has no equal.
While apologizing for using the forum to raise what has been a contentious political issue, Professor Miller proceeded to characterize the decision as a dishonor to all who worked towards political independence, including the nation's teachers. The ECJ was formed in 2006, replacing the Electoral Advisory Committee, the EAC. Professor Miller was its first chairman. He says the amendment drags the ECJ commissioners into direct involvement with partisan politics.
Adjudicating complaints of intemperate speech, silly public behavior, disputes about color, posters, paraphernalia, and graffiti in a period of heightened political partisan bravado and emotions in election campaigning, and without any sanctions to apply to deviance, is likely to diminish respect for both the Electoral Commission and its commissioners. In the past, the political ombudsman, while doing some good, was ignored by some candidates and their agents who defied their rulings, disregarded agreements reached, violated codes of conduct, all without consequence. To bring such impunity into the Electoral Commission is grossly unwise.
And Professor Miller says it's hard to see the benefit to the Jamaican people of making ECJ commissioners referees in the tribal game of party politics.
Making the electoral commissioners a collective I call the Ombuds Massive, 4 of whom can be removed at any time by the Prime Minister, is an innovation with little precedent and very high risk, despite good intentions by all. You know, we lionize change, but change must be for the better, not for the worse. The 4 selected commissioners could easily be compromised in their role in the constituted authority and also performing the role of political ombudsman.
Professor Miller says given the new arrangement, ECJ commissioners are in a position where it's easy for them to bring the organization into disrepute during election season.
You see, the constituted authority, and you might not know much about this body, but the constituted authority comes into being the day following the announcement of an election, and it remains in force for 6 months. Now, should a political event occur, especially before nomination day and up to election day, selected commissioners would be embroiled. I'm not going to call it conflict of interest, but conflict of office, no less than if a cabinet minister is found to be involved in open violence and social disturbance. The 2 things, by law, are not supposed to happen.
Professor Errol Miller, former chairman of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Leighton Johnson, says the Education Ministry's current funding model for schools is outdated. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Wednesday during the JTA's 60th anniversary lecture held in Duncan's in Trelawney. Abigail Bartley reports.
According to the JTA president, the Education Ministry must ensure that funding provided to schools across the island is in line with the needs of the institutions. He explained that in the current funding model, the ministry provides grants to schools on an annual basis. Schools at the primary level receive $2,500 per student per year, while secondary level institutions receive up to $19,000 per student. Mr. Johnson says this model, which has been in effect since 2016, has outlived its usefulness.
The fact is, in the dispensation that we are operating, the approach to the whole matter of funding education is, I believe, one that has outlived its useful purpose at this time. Of course, the Ministry of Education will indicate that, yes, there is some semblance of a per capita model that is being used when you look at the $2,500 at the primary level, as well as the $19,000 or up to $19,000 per student at the secondary level per year.
He says the ministry should take note of learning institutions which require more financial assistance than others.
We have to move away from equality to a place of equity to understand that some schools need more than the other.
Absolutely.
And on that basis, once we identify the core functions of the school to get the student to where they need to be, then the funding arrangement has to be improved where that is concerned.
Mr. Johnson asserted that the funds provided to students from the ministry is severely inadequate.
Of course, we will and will continue to advocate that there is the urgent need for us to revisit the amount totally. So the $2,500 per student at the primary level is shameful. It is shameful. And at the secondary level, the $19,000 is still woefully inadequate. If you were to make that comparison to any other first world jurisdiction or any other developing jurisdiction, you'll see that this is woefully lacking.
Abigail Bartley for Nationwide News.
The principal of Jamaica College and the former JTA president, Howard Isaacs, says more must be done to cure what he says is a worrying trend of disengaged students across the island. Mr. Isaacs was speaking on day 2 of the JTA's 60th anniversary lecture held at the Ocean Coral Spring Hotel in Duncan's in Trelawney.
One of the things that has had me sitting up at night looking in the ceiling, Cliff, is how can I engage my students? What can we do different? Because since COVID, things have changed. And that's a concern I have. I've been in the system from 1986 as a trained teacher, still in my teenage years, 19 years old. And I've never seen students so disengaged. And that's a challenge that I am having now, to find strategies and ways in which I can use to get my students to be more engaged.
Mr. Isaacs says today's students are only concerned with passing classes and graduating as opposed to participating in extracurricular activities. He wants to see strategies implemented to help change this reality.
We try our utmost to offer scholarships to students, right? So, for example, the cohort that is doing our computer electronics program there, they came in on a full scholarship. We found funding from somewhere else to provide scholarship for them. And one of the things that I recognize is that sometimes their involvement in activities outside of the curriculum, the core curricular activities that makes them what you and I are, sometimes I get the view that they are not as involved as I'd want them to be.
They just want to do enough to get the certificate.
Get the certificate.
Oh dear.
And that's a concern I see right across the colleges. So we have to find some strategies, some mechanism to get them a bit more involved where they can see learning experience more than just the academic.
Howard Isaacs, principal of Jamaica College and the former president of the Jamaica Teachers Association. The 3 members of the Jamaica Defense Force charged with the murder of businessman Keith Clark will go on trial on April 15. The decision was made on Wednesday following several weeks of private submissions to presiding judge Justice Dale Palmer. The preliminary hearing, which is conducted without a jury, is formally known as a voir dire. Clark was shot 21 times at his home in Kirkland Heights, St. Andrew on May 27, 2010 during a military operation in search of the now convicted drug lord Christopher Dudus Coke. VertiCast Media Group, the owners of CVM TV, are suing the country's 2 leading telecoms providers, Flow and Digicel, for what they deem as anti-competitive practices. The suit was filed in the Supreme Court on Wednesday. In a statement issued the same day, VertiCast says the telecoms giants have hindered their ability to operate competitively in Jamaica. Kimon Thompson has that story.
VertiCast alleges that Digicel and Flow excluded its channels C-Sport and C-Sport 2 from their paid television cable networks. According to VertiCast, the 2 defendants, to date, refused to agree to commercial terms to provide these channels to customers. VertiCast also says it signed broadcast deals with more than 20 other cable operators regionally at market rates. In its statement, VertiCast says such dominance stifles competition and limits consumer options. VertiCast currently has exclusive broadcast rights to the English Premier League and FIFA World Cup in the region. It says it invested heavily to create channels with content that is in high demand by customers. VertiCast says it has gone above and beyond to work with Flow and Digicel to provide their consumers with access. However, despite these attempts, negotiations have not been successful. Therefore, it feels it has no option but to stand up for both consumers and the rights of media companies in the industry. VertiCast says the refusal by Digicel and Flow obstructs consumer access to content and distribution, undermining fair competition. The Digicel Group and Columbus Communications, through its subsidiaries Cable and Wireless and Flow, are the 2 largest telecommunications providers in Jamaica and the Caribbean. The suit could have serious ramifications for the digital media service in the country. Kimon Thompson for Nationwide News.
Opposition members of Parliament are questioning the infrequency with which meetings of Parliament's Economic and Production Committee are held. The committee met on Wednesday to deliberate on a private member's motion in what was its first sitting in over a year. Member of Parliament for Western St. Andrew, Anthony Hilton, a former chairman of the committee, says meetings have rarely been convened since a directive issued by Prime Minister Andrew Holness for several committees of Parliament to be chaired by government MPs.
I'm disappointed because as the previous chair of the committee, I recall that the committee, the government made a decision, the parliament made a decision to change the leadership of the committees. And one of the reasons given was that the committees weren't meeting. And so that the change would have brought about so much more active meeting to deal with what are pressing issues. That it has not happened, I believe, it's really an indictment on the parliament itself, because it's not a shortage of issues of concern, particularly about concerning the economy.
Mr. Hilton called on the new chairman, the North Clarendon MP, Dwight Sibley, to ensure more meetings are held, given the importance of the committee's work.
It's not a shortage of issues of concern, particularly about concerning the economy. And as we meet here today to begin deliberation on a private member's motion, you will see that some of the very issues that we're about to embark on were some of the issues identified in that previous meeting, which is really an agenda-setting meeting. So, Chairman, I'm hopeful that under your chairmanship, this committee will discharge its responsibility to the Parliament and to the economy and the people of this country, because we desperately need to be having more meetings, not fewer meetings, because the times call for it and the need is there for it.
Anthony Hilton, MP for Western St. Andrew. Meanwhile, South St. Catherine MP Fitz Jackson says the failure of such a key committee to meet for over a year is unforgivable.
This minutes before us is dated minutes of the virtual meeting of the Economy and Production Committee held on Tuesday, March 14, 2023, over 1 year ago. Over 1 year ago. A number of issues, when I read the minutes, I was struck that those critical issues raised in that last meeting, which are issues of crying importance to the Jamaican economy and to the Jamaican people, that the membership of the committee was so busy that all of those important matters lay idle for over 1 year.
Fitz Jackson, MP for South St. Catherine. Overseas, NATO today marks 75 years of collective defense across Europe and North America. The anniversary comes as the now 32-nation alliance weighs a plan to provide more predictable long-term military support to Ukraine. In a ceremony to mark the day, hundreds of staffers filled the vast air terminal-like space at the center of NATO's sprawling Brussels headquarters. Scores of others looked down from glassed walkways and stairways as Belgian and Dutch military bands played the NATO hymn, the original Washington Treaty laid before them. NATO's founding treaty was signed on April 4, 1949 in Washington, D.C. A bigger celebration is planned when NATO leaders meet in D.C. from July 9 to 11. That's the news nationwide this morning.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
17 minutes past 7.
Employers, mark your calendars. The annual Employers Return, SO2, originally due March 31, 2024, is now due on April 2, 2024. File online at jamaicatax.gov.jm. Contact 888-TAX-HELP for more assistance. The temperature by Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better, is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
The Jamaica Conch Cluster JCC has received a groundbreaking achievement in receiving the Marine Stewardship Council certification for the Jamaica Queen Conch. This means that the JCC can proudly bear the MSC logo, signaling commitment, sustainability, and profitability. Special thanks to the Government of Jamaica and its agencies and their implementation and funding partners, the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility. For more information, visit the MSC website at www.fisheries.msc.org or contact them directly at conclusterjam@gmail.com.
Street Smarts 2, Ludlow McLean, El Shaddai, Taxi Company, making the connection now. Good morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George. And how are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, my friend.
All right, not too bad. And our listeners, we want to say good morning. And we can't leave out our visitors. Welcome again to Jamaica. Hope you had a good tenure and hope you come back again and make plenty referrals. This situation is still bright and sunny. Just a few clouds above. Mainly serious, as I reported this morning. And the roadways are busy, but yet quite a different situation now, but I'm sure next week it will be totally different because the movement is good. Those of you up in the Kingston 8, you're coming off Shortwood Road from Olivia Road, then onto Grandspen Road, going through Shortwood Lane, not too bad. Grandspen Road is building, but you can still access Grandspen Road all the way across to Barbican Road. Barbican Road is even flowing too. It's flowing, so if you're coming off Acada Drive, Bird-Sucker Lane, and Rough Lights onto Barbican Road, and you make it, and you're heading east, it's not much of a problem. A slight build up at the intersection, and that is understandable, right at the intersection of Barbican Road and East Kings House Road. But then it flows again all the way down East Kings House Road towards the intersection of Lady Musgrave Road and Hope Road, and going across Lady Musgrave Road, not much of a problem. Those of you in the New Kingston area still find it easy going Trafalgar Road in both directions. Lady Musgrave Road flowing all the way across to connect with Olop Road. And if you're coming from the Ligony area, the top of Mountain View, Stanton Terrace, all the way down Olop Road, it's really flowing in both directions. No major delays. As I said, next week, it will be a totally different situation at this time. But just to advise you, motorists, to lane properly, and remember, don't try to beat that traffic light. Every time we know what happens, and then the overtaking, the judgment has to be impeccable. So many mistakes are made during this overtaking situation. And sometimes it's a close call when you overtake, so just be careful as you traverse the road this morning. As usual, at Street Smart, your safety is all concerned. George, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there from the El Shaddai Taxi Company. Up next, Torna, Saeed, Front Page, and you. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned into our discussion segment, the Front Page, and turning our attention to that crash, that fatal crash in St. Anne that happened last evening. The police have confirmed that 2 people were killed in a 4-vehicle crash along the Dunsborough Main Road in St. Anne on Wednesday evening. Dead are 55-year-old Christopher White, a vendor, and 42-year-old Corrine Browning of Thompson Pan District in St. Catherine. A 22-month-old girl was injured in the incident and remains in hospital this morning. The crash, which involved 4 vehicles, including a Range Rover and a Nissan AD wagon, happened in the vicinity of Pearly Beach. For an update and to give us some more insight into what happened, we're being joined by Superintendent Winchester Watson of the Constabulary's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEP. Superintendent, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, madam, and your listeners.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Superintendent Watson, could you give us some insight into what happened last evening?
Well, good morning again. And based on information from the investigators, Somewhere about 8:20 p.m., a fatal collision occurred along the Dunsborough Main Road in the vicinity of Pearly Beach. It involved 4 vehicles. A Range Rover, which was traveling from the Outer direction towards Miami Bay. For some reasons unknown, up to this time, failed to keep left. Hence, veered to the right of the roadway. It collided with a underfit that was traveling in the opposite direction. It also had impact with a Nissan AD wagon as well as a Toyota Wish. So far, the driver of the Nissan AD wagon as well as 2 occupants are confirmed dead. Other persons were injured and are still in hospital. The investigation is still ongoing, and as soon as we have other information, we definitely will share it with the media.
Just for clarity, Superintendent Watson, we were reporting that there were 2 fatalities and that a 22-month girl was injured and is in hospital. But you just mentioned that the driver and 2 passengers in that AD wagon died. So is it that you're confirming that the 22-month-old girl has also passed?
No, I've not gotten the name of the 22-month-old, but I was told that there are 2 other persons that are in the vehicle.
In the AD wagon?
Yes, sir.
So how many people have died?
It is what I'm getting is the driver as well as 2. So it's 3 persons from the AD wagon.
Okay, so you're not sure of who the 3rd person is yet who has passed?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure.
And any information on the passengers of the other vehicle, the drivers and passengers of the other vehicles?
Yet you're coming in slow. I'm not hearing that clearly, but I'm yet to get additional information. I'm working on it. I'm in communication with the investigator from the Central Division. But as soon as we have additional information, he'll definitely be informed.
Appreciate it, Superintendent Winchester Watson. He's from the Constabulary's Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, P-Steps. Just so we stay on top of things with you as soon as you get the next update.
You're welcome, so not a problem.
Good. Appreciate it.
Turning our attention now to the matter of productivity. Anthropologist Professor Don Robotham has called for a reset on literacy, emphasizing its role in addressing low productivity. Writing in the Sunday Gleaner on March 17, Professor Robotham argued that if Jamaica increases productivity but continues to produce the very same profile of low value added goods and services, the economy will not develop, incomes will not rise, and the tax base will not expand. The principal of Mona Campus, that's the UWI Mona Campus, Professor Denzel Williams, wrote a piece for the Gleaner on March 29, and he argued that productivity gains will be realized when the country goes beyond the literacy issue. Professor Williams says that there's a need for higher order skills beyond literacy and numeracy, such as critical thinking and problem solving, to move Jamaica's economy up the global value chain.
To continue the discussion about the path to higher levels of productivity, we are joined by the former president of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, Howard Mitchell, and principal of the Mona Campus, principal of the University of the West Indies Mona Campus, Professor Denzel Williams. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, all.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Let's begin with you, Professor Williams. Just that overview, what do you make of the current productivity landscape in Jamaica?
Oh, I'm
we
hearing
just
that,
lost
Williams.
Professor Williams.
Yes, so let's start with Howard Mitchell then. Sir?
Hi, Tom. Saeed, how are you? Hi,
good.
Tono.
Good morning.
Your view on the current productivity landscape in Jamaica?
I think it's unchallengeable that our productivity is probably one of the lowest, or is the lowest in the region, or one of the lowest in the region. It's been declining since I can remember, and the fact is that you're not going to get real growth unless we do something about it. Productivity, and it's not just that we're a low-wage economy. That is so, but it is also, as both gentlemen have said, that one, there is a problem of literacy and understanding, and two, there is the issue of the analytic capacity of our citizenry. But also, I'd like to propose that that doesn't go the whole step in understanding the problem. That, as Professor Williams has stated, it is critical that we develop tertiary level education to improve the analytic capacity, and also that we do research and development into more complex production and more complex jobs and more complex activities. However, the fact is that even if you do that, you cannot do it in isolation. It has to be done in a context of smart collaboration between the private sector and the government, and a policy framework that incentivizes business and entrepreneurs to go to these areas of complex production and to get involved in them. Because the fact is that water finds its own level. And no businessman is going to go and deliberately take on, within the current bureaucratic and policy, lack of policy framework that we have in Jamaica, is going to go on and take on complex manufacturing production where he can buy and sell, import goods and buy and sell them. We need policies that incentivize our business people. The money flows towards areas that create these opportunities, because if you don't do that, then what you'll find, and I hope Professor Williams will be on, but what you'll find is that we get people who are literate, they go through the tertiary system, and as universities suffering from now and for the country, you get a brain drain because they go to other areas in the world to apply their trade, and we lose them. So unless you can get Mona Institute of Applied Sciences and SRC and those people, and develop the University of West Indies research and capacities within a framework of policy incentivization of money, then I think we won't be completing the task.
After the break, certainly Professor Williams, want your response to what Sir Howard Mitchell just said. Said quite a bit there, but specifically want to hear from you as well as it relates to critical thinking, problem solving. How do we move Jamaica up the global value chain after the break?
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:31.
Your taxes hold the key.
TAJ, through its annual Special Taxpayer Assistance Program, STAP, will host tax advisory, taxpayer education sessions, and webinars island-wide for micro and small business persons to help them meet their annual obligations for filing income tax returns to meet the March 15 deadline. Visit our website at jamaicatax.gov.jm or call 888-TAX-HELP for details. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
(7:32). Thank you so much for staying with us. We're on the front page speaking with Howard Mitchell and Professor Williams, former president of the PSOJ and principal of the UMONA, respectively. Professor Williams, you there?
Hi, very good morning, Saeed Turner, and very good morning to your listeners.
Thank you so
and
much.
My very distinguished friend, Mr. Howard Mitchell.
Thank you so much for joining us, Professor. Want to get an understanding from you, though, Professor, as it relates to going beyond the literacy issue to address, as you put it, critical thinking and problem solving to move us up the global value chain. And you heard just now what your good friend, as you call him, Howard Mitchell, just said. as it relates to these issues. What's your take on it?
Right. So I think that Howard is on to something really, really good. As he correctly contextualize it, calling for an improvement in literacy, numeracy, and beyond that, calling for an expansion of tertiary graduates is really part of the puzzle. There's a bigger part that really needs to now come into focus, and that is how we are now twinning what we're doing towards the developmental agenda for Jamaica. And so, really and truly, if you notice in my own piece, what I did was to call for an industrial policy to actually guide that kind of developmental framework that we're talking about. At one point, we talk about industrial policy as a bad word in neoliberal circles. Today, what we're talking about is industrial policy to do exactly what Howard is talking about, which is coordinating the pieces. So what we need is the private sector to be on board. We need all of the non-governmental sector, etc., to say how we're going to now use the resources from the human capital produced by the university in a coordinated way to develop the country and improve our productivity. But importantly, is how we're going to incentivize, for example, the production that Mr. Mitchell talks about. We have to do it in such a way that capital can see that there is going to be a positive return on their investment and a return that is actually responsible for the risk that they're taking as well. And so what we have to do is to have the coordination among the various players to make sure that is happening. The university has to play its role, private sector has to play its role, policymakers have to play their role, and capital will have to play their role.
And in terms of the rules, Professor Williams, there's always been this argument that in the basket of things that will push productivity along, you have, really poor managers or people who are resistant to change and upskilling and all of that. Where is that in the line of things that contributes to productivity?
So we can't ignore the work of Ken Carter in all of this discussion. You remember Ken Carter, who wrote a piece some years ago, a few decades ago, about why workers don't work, yeah? And basically, there are some very, very basic principles that he outlined. For example, respect, organization, things to do with how work is structured and stuff like that. All of these elements come to play in terms of getting the worker to now starting to think differently and starting to produce more. So the managerial aspect is one, but we also have to look at the technological aspect, the tools that we're also giving the workers to work with in order to enhance their productivity. And that is why you have to now have the capital class making investment in technologies that are going to actually enhance the way that people work. So it's complementing all the way people work, not really replacing them. And that is why we ask for things like investment in artificial intelligence technologies. Mm-hmm. We ask for investment in the human capital that is now going to allow them to seamlessly use these kinds of technologies, etc. So the truth is that puzzle is not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. We have to put all of the various elements in there. And importantly, the managerial class will have to also make sure that they organize work in a way that the workers can feel comfortable, that the workers can actually produce more. Give them the right working space, making sure that they understand their objectives, making sure that they are being measured, making sure that they are being evaluated, and making sure that they have the resources to work.
But a part of this issue, one would say, Mr. Mitchell, is that you're incentivizing on one end, giving the tools, but the very incentivization for the worker itself is the remuneration. Yeah, how do we balance that? How do we incentivize the very workers now to use the tools to not only further the interests of productivity, but to further their own self-interest?
Well, let me respond to that in two ways. One, I just want to underscore what Professor Williams was saying about the work environment and what the work that Ken Carter did. In the broader context, you can't have productivity in an environment. You can't separate culture from productivity. You cannot have productivity in an environment where there is hostility, where there's tension, where there's constant division. And this is one of the things that I've been preaching for a little while about values and attitudes, that all of this is of a piece in our society, because we have a society that is tearing itself apart with tensions that we have not addressed. And in addition to that, we have a society that is unfocused as to what it is really about. We have an identity crisis, so that we have great productivity in the areas of entertainment, for instance. Right? I mean, but that does not necessarily, and I know this is controversial, that does not necessarily match with worker ethic. That you can't have 3 days of partying during the week and still have people who are productive having come home at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. All of those things have to be taken into account. Now, to address this specific issue of compensation, I believe that we really, as the private sector, have to look at performance metrics. And it, again, is of a piece with the analytical abilities and the use of data in our society. And it's not just our workers who are lacking in analytic capacity. It is our managers and our business people. And the fact is, I've been a manufacturer and a distributor of goods, and I can tell you that unless you have a policy framework and a structure that would allow me as a manufacturer to take home every year after tax or before tax rather, something more than 8% of profit when I can buy and sell and do 30 or 40%. You are not going to get me to engage in some of these uplifts of work complexity and product complexity that we're speaking about. So this requires national attention, smart collaboration, pulling together all of the actors on this particular in the economy, and coming up with a policy framework that addresses the issue of work culture, workplace culture, that addresses the issue of performance incentivization, the education for work that we need in the society, and the kind of cultural incentivization and direction that a government and a state must give to its people. Right. And we're not having that.
I heard you wanted to come in there, Professor.
No, that's exactly what I wanted to take off from there, because that issue of setting the policy framework is so critical, because the truth is that if you're going to have this reorientation of the mind, if you're going to have this incentivization, etc., what you need is a public policy that is going to drive that kind of thinking. And so what we're seeing here, as I indicated before, is that all of these need to be done in the broader context of a national industrial policy that says exactly where do we want to go as a country, what are the things that are priorities for us, how we're going to address them, what are the resources that we're going to pull together to make sure that we address these things. And public policy is what is going to incentivize those kinds of issues. So that is why you really need, if you're going to address this productivity issue, you have kind of a joined-up approach, not a kind of a siloed approach to say the managerial class is doing their thing, and then you have the capital class doing their thing, and then you have the bureaucratic class doing their thing. You don't really need it like that. What you need is a coordinated approach, and that is going to happen through an industrial policy.
Mm-hmm. And a part of that industrial policy, I imagine, would lend itself to access to education, as I see you put it in your piece there, Professor. But
right.
You say it's not just access, not just the access to high quality, not just the mere access to the institutions, but the access to high quality post-secondary institutions. Could you expound on that? I mean, when you look at it, we have UWI, UTech, there's a Heart NSTA.
Yeah.
You know, what more needs to be done in that regard?
Well, what you need, Saeed Turner, is that you really don't just need people to go to a university or go to a post-secondary institution. You need them to go to an institution that is creating value. So really and truly, in this day and age, what you find is that persons may just want to get a piece of certificate and then say, I have a degree or I have a particular certification, without having the ability to apply and also the analytical skills behind it. What you really need is institutions that are focused on quality, so that they can turn out graduates that are now making these kinds of contributions. And so you have to look at the quality aspect of the institution. What is it that they're teaching? Who is in the classroom teaching it? What kind of research that they're putting out there? Stuff like that. So you need to ensure that it's not just like, as we would say in Jamaica, a kind of a degree mill.
But Professor,
certification to people.
Professor, isn't there already some mechanism in place to ensure that, you know, the universities and these post-secondary institutions meet a particular standard in delivering their courses?
Well, you have the University Council of Jamaica. That is very, very useful. And then you have Jamaica, JTech, Jamaica education. I don't remember the exact name for it, that Dr. Black heads as well. But the idea is that not all institutions actually pass those standards. And therefore, we have to be very vigilant to make sure that all institutions that are now, especially those that are benefiting from taxpayers' money, that they meet the standards that are set by the University Council and the Jamaica Tertiary Education Council and all of those accreditation bodies. But also importantly, we need to ensure that they are able to gain global recognition as well through their processes. So it's not just locally from the University Council of Jamaica, but globally, because remember now, our graduates are not always going to remain here, so their degree has to be very portable.
And a final one before we let you go, gentlemen, to you, Howard Mitchell. We've been having this conversation, but another important aspect or factor in this whole matter of productivity we've heard spoken about time on time is the matter of infrastructure, improving the infrastructure. You hear all the time people saying the amount of time people spend in traffic or, trying to get to work when they could be at work being productive, but they're stuck in traffic. How important is a factor of improving the infrastructure?
That underscores the need for collaboration, and I keep using the term smart collaboration. We can't keep having this emphasis on politics over policy. So we have to have some consensus on what the structural framework for the society looks like. And this is one of them, creating an amenity for our workers who are then educated for work and for value. And with respect to these institutions that grade the universities and certify them, it's not just about standards, it's also about fitness for purpose of the academic qualification that you get. I mean, it makes no sense us producing the people who have certificates in language ability in French. If we are not putting it to some use, they would be frustrated.
Yes.
So the emphasis has to be on a holistic approach to what the society is going to extract for itself in terms of value and benefit, and to enable our citizens to achieve their highest human value. And that the social infrastructure, the cultural infrastructure, we have to look at those things and put them in a context that we're driving in the same direction. That's policy, and that's something that we successive administrations in our political system have been weak at.
Howard Mitchell, former president of the PSOJ, and Professor Denzel Williams, principal of the UWI Mona campus. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
We're going to take a break. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll be speaking with the governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own, and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
13 minutes to 8 o'clock.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is...
It's 28 degrees here in capital city Kingston, 26 southwest in Montego Bay.
Shake and go with true shake. Shake and go. Grab a true shake and go. When me have to put in the work, but I'm moving slow. Grab a true shake and go. School time and not joke time. Office study hard brain full time. Grab a true shake and go. When we up in the gym, we have to stay healthy and fit. Grab a true shake and go. Shake and go with True Shake. Packed with 9 grams of protein, 24 key vitamins and minerals to keep you going. Grab a true shake and go.
12 minutes up to 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us. We're still on the front page. We turn our eyes now to the new service standards for automated banking machines. The South St. Catherine MP Fitz Jackson is welcoming the new service standards for ABM imposed on deposit-taking institutions. The standards were published on Tuesday by the Bank of Jamaica, and we're joined now by the Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Sir Richard Biles. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Sir Biles, certainly have to ask you, coming right off the bat, why are there no monetary sanctions for the deposit-taking institutions if they don't follow and stay attuned to this standard that's been released?
Yeah, well, a monetary sanction would require legislation. That is a law that says you must achieve certain standards or else. We don't have the law, and getting a law passed is quite a process in Jamaica. And generally, countries throughout the world, laws take time to get passed. So what we have relied on instead is moral suasion. And how we have gone about it is that we have met with the banks, and they are seized with the challenge that so many Jamaicans face. They know, they feel it, they hear it every day, and they're ashamed of it. So in discussions with them, we arrived at consensus of what standards are appropriate and achievable, what they think Jamaican public should receive from them. And those are the standards that we are putting out there. When we do have the law, it will take a little while, we will put the monetary sanctions behind it.
So the intention of the BOJ then, through legislation, is to have the sanctions ultimately?
Absolutely.
So in the meantime, while we wait on the legislation that will carry those monetary sanctions, you also mentioned in the standards that non-adherence may give rise to supervisory concerns around safety and soundness with the attendant supervisory consequences. And people have been asking, what are those supervisory consequences?
Well, if you're a deposit-taking institution, a bank, and your supervisor is not pleased with you, that's a bit of a challenge for you. Because there are many issues that we have to work together on. And if I have a very positive view of your service and what you're trying to do, then I will, that positive view will rub off on how I deal with you in many other ways. And if I have a negative view, similarly, that will rub off on how I deal with you in other ways. So I think it's in the best interest of the banks to be in good standing in the eyes of the central bank and to achieve the standards that the bank asks you to achieve, especially when we have sat down with the banks and we have agreed that these are the standards that are appropriate.
And as it relates to the concern that the no fees for unsuccessful transactions not being in the standards, why was that not placed in there?
Tell the truth, that's a detail that I'm not totally aware of. I would have to check on that. Let me follow up on that.
Okay.
So you weren't in the consultative process, Mr. Biles?
Not in the details.
Mm-hmm. But as it relates, though, to...
Is this something that you at this time would consider adding to the standards as well? Persons go to the ABMs, they're about to do a transaction, the ABM fails for some reason, malfunctions.
Oh, yeah.
The transaction was not completed, but they're charged.
No. I agree with you entirely. And that's an oversight on my part.
So you're saying this morning that this is something that the BOJ would consider
I will
adding to the
take
standards?
that up with them.
Okay. Fitz Jackson, he was on this program yesterday, the MP for South St. Catherine, and he was saying that the standards and the enforcement aspect of it, he likened it to something like a bookkeeping, because you have these reports and then you publish it. But what really holds the banks to account? It's you name and shame them, but what if they do nothing?
No, well, I don't think a bank will do nothing. Not only will the public not put up with it, but we won't put up with it. That we, as I say, if a central bank, your supervisor, frowns on you because you don't perform in a way that we agree, then that's not a good thing. Until we have the law, and I don't have any control over getting the law passed. That's Parliament, and that's all of the process that leads up to Parliament, which is very involved.
Yeah.
You know, if you ever know all the committees and the people that have to comment on a piece of legislation, simple as it may be, your mind will be blown. It takes months, even years, to get Parliament, to get legislation to Parliament and to get Parliament to approve it. I have no control over that. I have a situation which we must deal with now. I am totally sympathetic with the public on this matter, and I believe that the banks, based on our discussions with them, are very understanding of the challenges, and they don't want their good name to be blemished. So I believe we have a good chance of raising the standards. Maybe if I had financial penalties, they may even be sharper. But until I have that, we're doing our best.
Governor, I have to ask you though, because many persons have been complaining about their monies disappearing. It's in an account in the bank, and it's no longer there. And they're always being told, oh, you were scammed, or it's phishing, and all of that. When they're saying sometimes they don't even get an email to have been phished. Yeah, is the BOJ considering anything as it relates to how the banks ought to deal with the consumers and the customers in these certain instances?
Yeah, there are procedures. From the bank's point of view, they have to determine whether a customer has genuinely been robbed or whether this is part of a scam. That's a challenge that they face, and they have to take a little time to work that out. Now, that's a whole different set of standards that we would have to be looking at, different from ABM machines and the service that they deliver. So you'd have to allow me to be able to look more closely on that. Let me just give you a little background to Bank of Jamaica. We've spent the last 25 years building up our prudential supervision. That means that we are looking at banks in terms of having plenty good, strong capital and processes that will make them stay efficient and stay profitable. That's what we have focused on for the last 25 years. And the proof of the pudding is that we have had no bank failures in the last 25 years. Can't say that for the United States. Can't say that for many other countries in the world. Remember 2008, many major banks failed. Just in the pandemic, some banks failed right in our northern neighbors, the United States. So Jamaica has done well in terms of prudential management. What we need to do now is to turn our attention more to the business of market conduct and customer protection. And that's what the Twin Peaks legislation that is being prepared, even as we speak now, is going to deal with. It is going to say to the FSC, you have to become a professional at international standards in the matter of market conduct and customer protection for everybody that is dealing with the financial sector, whether it is a bank, a securities dealer, an insurance company, pension funds. You have to be the expert there. You must be the watchdog. And then the Bank of Jamaica will become the prudential watchdog for everybody in the financial sector. So there'll be a separation. One institution deal with prudential oversight and the other deal with market conduct and customer protection. When we get there, I promise you, the landscape is going to look quite different to now. You will have two very focused, very professional supervisors looking at the financial sector.
Now, on the matter of going back to the standards for a bit, Governor Biles, just to get some clarity, is it that a bank that wants to, make adjustments in its fees, they have to write to the BOJ first, indicating that they want to make adjustments in their fees, and that must be justified, and then you will permit that. But if not, they can't go ahead and increase those fees or adjust those fees?
Correct. Same thing with paying dividends. When banks want to pay dividends, they advise the bank that they want to. We look at the justification for it, and if it is okay, we say yes. If it doesn't look good to us, we say no, and we enter into discussions with them.
So in the case now of a bank where you're giving the banks about 9 months now to implement all of these standards, what if they come to you sometime after and say, boy, you know, to implement all of these things, it cost us a pretty penny. And that's one of the justifications given for why they want to increase fees just after. What would be your response?
Well, let me tell you, ABM machines are very sophisticated machines, and they're expensive. Some of them, especially intelligent ones, cost up to $500,000 US. And for them to be viable, you have to have good throughput. That is, many people are using it, the uptime is good, and the fees are appropriate. So, like everything in life, you know, the cost of doing business rises, but it doesn't rise dramatically, hopefully. And it doesn't rise regularly and frequently. So that is what we'll be looking for. I know that there are instances and there are concerns that the fees that are charged at ABMs are subsidized to some extent, you know. But we will look at that when that issue arises, because I know that that is a sensitive issue for the public.
Mm-hmm. 9 months, you think that's enough time for them to implement all of what you've presented as the standards?
This is an agreement with the banks, and we don't mean that it is going to take 9 months for you to have 95% of your ABMs working all the time, and 95% of them have cash in them all the time. We expect that to happen like now and in the next couple of weeks. But there are certain other standards that will take a little while, like making the ABM machine vestibules available to wheelchairs, that kind of stuff, which takes a little time because there are so many locations around. That will take a little bit more time. And there are some of the technological supervision techniques to know, for example, at a rural ABM is out of cash, for you to know that instantly. That is a piece of software and hardware that you have to put into the machine to be able to be alerted to that instantly. Those are the things that we're saying may take the 9 months, but not that they are available 95% of the times and that they have cash in them 95% of the time.
And how does BOG now ensure that these are working the 95% of the time?
We get reports, and the reports are generated by the machines themselves.
Cannot be manipulated by...
Well, I don't know, but I presume not. I mean, if I found that a bank was manipulating data that they're sending to the central bank, that would be a serious issue.
And those reports, the reports on how many ABMs were working in a month and the time to replenish cash and all of that, that report will also be made available to the public?
Absolutely. We will publish it every month.
Okay, and finally, Governor, before you go, so if I constantly use one ABM and for an entire day, I go there in the morning, it's not working, I go back there in the evening, it's still not working, can I call the BOG and say, this machine has not been working for almost 24 hours? Does that raise the alarm?
And you have my number too, so you can text me and tell me.
All right, Governor Miles. Thank you so much for joining us. That's Richard Miles, the Governor of the Bank of Jamaica. Thank you so much, sir, for your time.
Thank you, too.
Good. We go for the break. Up next, Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
2 minutes after 8.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
With Across Jamaica this Thursday morning, I'm Tona Thomas. The St. James Police say Peace View in Albion in the parish is a step closer to living up to its name. This after the seizure of what it describes as a significant cache of firearms and ammunition on Wednesday. The police report that a joint police military team conducted a search of the area, leading to the discovery of one Springfield 9mm pistol with a magazine, one Beretta 9mm pistol with a magazine, one Remington 12-gauge shotgun along with 8 12-gauge cartridges, 33 7.62mm ammunitions, and 28 9mm rounds of ammunition. 3 men were taken into custody in relation to the finds. The JCF says that the operation was part of a thrust to ramp up operational activities targeting wanted persons, illegal weapons, and organized crime in the parish. Now, the police seized more ammunition on Wednesday, this time from a location in Old Harbour, St. Catherine. The Old Harbour Police report that a magazine containing 4.40 cartridges was seized in a snap raid at a premises in the square between 8:45 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. They say the ammunition was found in a vegetated area at the rear of a building. No one was arrested in relation to the find. The Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining says 8 farm roads in St. James will be rehabilitated this fiscal year. Portfolio Minister Floyd Green says that the 8 will add to the 14 completed over the last 2.5 years, including those in John Common, Catadupa and Richmond Hill. Green says that the improved infrastructure will significantly improve productivity and market access in the area. He made the comments at the Montpelier Agricultural and Industrial Show on Monday, which was held under the theme, Grow What We Eat, Eat What We Grow. The event was organized by the St. James branch of the Jamaica Agricultural Society and featured a variety of agricultural products and displays, including farming systems and a Farm Queen competition. The JCF says a 34-year-old Malcolm Thompson, otherwise called Brinks, of Toptown, Clarkstown in Trelawney, who was reported missing on Monday, March 25, has returned home. He is said to be in good health. Finally, in across Jamaica this Thursday morning, police reported on Wednesday that they have arrested and charged a man in relation to the stabbing death of 54-year-old Carlton Smith of Hunsdene Avenue, Kingston 10. Charged with murders, 32-year-old Michael Thompson, otherwise called Mafia, and Cartel, of Malines Road, Kingston 10. The incident occurred at the intersection of Malines and Waltham Park Roads in St. Andrew on Thursday, March 21. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that about 7 in the morning, a dispute developed between Smith and a man. It became physical, and a knife was brought into play and used to inflict a wound to the left side of Smith's chest. The injured man collapsed on the road and was transported to hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Thompson was apprehended later the same day and placed into custody. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Thursday morning. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again. Live here halfway tree in Olympic finals.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the Blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noblin Williams-Mills coming, with Rory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noblin Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's gold.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment, let's go! Oh, what a run!
everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering gold for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph, and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, NTM. Taking your calls now, the numbers 630-937-124, 630-937-124, and 618-8255. 618-8255 is our digital line. In the meantime, getting some information now that there were 4 fatalities on the nation's roads overnight. We've been reporting on the crash in St. Anne, but there was also one in Westmoreland, right? And we'll just tell you the details that we've been able to gather from the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. For the one we've been reporting on in St. Anne, it says at about 8:20 p.m., along the Roaring River Main Road in the vicinity of Pearly Beach entrance, there was a crash involving a gray 2013 Honda Fit motor car, a white Nissan AD wagon motor car, a black Toyota Wish motor car, and a white Range Rover motor car. The information they have been able to gather, one vehicle was traveling westward, while 3 vehicles were traveling eastward along the Roaring River Main Road. Upon reaching in the vicinity of the Pearly Beach entrance, it's alleged that one of the vehicles failed to negotiate a left-hand bend, veering onto the right side of the roadway and collided with all 3 vehicles. The collision resulted in fatal injuries for the driver of the Nissan AD wagon and 2 passengers. And we had Superintendent Winchester Watson of Peace earlier that confirmed that it was 3 people. So the driver unfortunately died, and 2 passengers, a male and a female vendor, and a 55-year-old male passenger also unfortunately died. But there was also a fatality from a road crash in Westmoreland.
In Westmoreland, on the 3rd of April 2024, along the Cave Main Road vicinity, 150 meters west of the Cave crossing, involving a blue 2014 BMW registered, I won't say the registration number, and a brown Warhawk CG 250 motorcycle with no registration plate affixed. From information received, both vehicles were traveling along the Cave Main Road in opposite directions, with the Warhawk motorcycle heading towards Ferris and the BMW motor car towards Bluefields direction. Upon reaching the vicinity of Cave Crossing, it is alleged that the driver of the Warhawk motorcycle failed to keep left and collided head-on into the right front section of the BMW motor car. As a result of the collision, the motorcyclist received injuries and was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
Yeah. And Westmoreland, year on year, has shown to be the parish with the most fatalities in terms of motorcyclists. Yeah, Westmoreland continues to be the parish with the most fatalities in terms of motorcyclists. And so far as well, we should tell you before going to our call of Fergie, So far this year, February seems to be the month with the most road fatalities at 38. There were 34 fatalities in January, 38 in February, 30 in March, and so far this month, 10 people have died on the nation's roads. 10 people have died on the nation's roads. 4 of them were yesterday. Fergie, good morning to you.
Good morning to the big show, because this must be the biggest show. To have 3 very bright Jamaicans this morning on your show. I must congratulate you.
Thank you.
These are people who can contribute a lot to our country. You listen to what they said this morning and the thoughts and very bright people, and the power that they speak to these people, a lot of things can hurt this country.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is what I want to express this morning. And I personally supposed to apologize to Richard Biles. I owe an apology as a youngster at school. I made him sing, while he was at Jamaica College as the first former. And I didn't know that I was tuning up a future governor, bankers of Jamaica.
That's how it always go,
Yes.
You were his peer or you were his teacher? Fergie?
Pardon?
You said you made him sing in high school.
Yes.
You were.
And I was a big.
Oh, you were a senior student.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So you had made the young boy sing, or if you can't sing the dance, All right. You take care.
All right. Thank you so much for your contribution, Fergie.
Okay.
Richard, good morning to you.
Good morning, Richard.
Richard?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Good morning.
The airport is turned off.
Are you hearing us, Richard?
Hello?
Richard, are you hearing us?
I'm hearing you now. Good morning.
Good morning. What's up?
And it's a pleasure having back George on the morning show, because that's where I started with George,
Okay, from the 1990s.
Yes, and I don't know why you choose to go up on the evening show.
Who chose to go on the evening show?
George was on the 5 o'clock show.
Oh, you're talking to George. Oh, yeah. This is not George, this is Saeed talking to you.
Okay, one of the things that I
but Richard.
No, I'm saying that
George, so you don't know George was.
Yes, George not supposed to be on the evening show. He's supposed to be on the morning show, because I'm accustomed to having him.
Okay, fine.
But what I want to talk about now here, Tana, before I go on to my quick point.
Yes.
Thursday, I was answering the question in the chat, and you never read any of my answers. But by the time you finish asking the question, my answer was sent in already.
Lord Jesus.
And I sent you 5 answers.
But is who posts first, though, Richard?
No, my answer, because while you're there waiting for some answers, mine sending long time.
But clearly it didn't make its way to the chat for me to see. It's what I'm seeing on my screen, And here's the thing, Richard. On YouTube, things are delayed. So.
Okay.
So maybe that is what happened.
Yes. I have to go back to the point with parents, because everything we're blaming the teachers, we're blaming society, and this is one of the reasons our police are having so much hard time, because of bad parenting.
Mm-hmm.
And when I listen to the principal of from the 60th anniversary of the Teachers Association, as if parents have no responsibility. Yeah. I don't know, because when my kids were going to school, I would have visited the school, speak with the principal and the form teacher to find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And get feedback from them that I can able to deal with my kids. And if they're stepping out of line, I will be there to fix the problem.
Yeah, it's a struggle now to get a lot of parents to show up for PTA meetings. Yeah, but or to even call a school or have any interest in what their children are doing at the institutions.
Yeah. Because when my kids were going, I was mostly out of Jamaica. But once I come into the country, I'm going to the school.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm sure when you were outside of the country, you were keeping up with what was happening anyway.
Yes.
But when you arrived, you made your visits.
Yes. And I been noticing that parents at Teachers Association meeting, I've been to a few, and I only for mothers alone see maybe see 1 or 2 father the most.
Yeah, that's another problem.
But the thing, we want the best for our children. So if we want the best for our children, we have to work with them in order to get the best out of them. We can't expect teachers and to be doing everything.
Everybody is
know.
parenting except the parent.
Yes. So when they come up from school, you ensure that the schoolwork is done. Even if you can't learn, we have technology age now. You go on Google and research some of these things.
Yes.
So there's no excuse for bad parenting and leaving it up to the mercy of what's going on around. They're supposed to be there to guide them, that we can have a better Jamaica. These kids can be more productive in society.
I agree.
And my final point, when my neighbor have a job and the children grow up and can be productive, I don't fear of them coming to rob me.
You're correct.
Have a blessed day.
You too, Richard. Yeah. Who's next? Who's next? Chevy. Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning to you, Chevy.
Good morning, Tana and Saidi.
Good morning, Chevy.
What I think this news card should also emphasize regarding these bike riders is that the ones who have died so far are not protected.
Meaning they weren't wearing any helmets and all the protective gears.
No protective gear.
Yes.
You understand? So I think the public should know that these are some of the big reasons why these people are dying so rapidly on the road, because they don't care.
They don't. They're riding quite recklessly.
Recklessly, they don't care at all.
Earlier, what you were saying again, Said, about
We love to flirt to death.
they love to flirt with death.
Yeah. Yes, they do. And like people say, they dare you to eat them off the bike when they behave like this.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yes.
Just like some pedestrians, dare you to eat them when they just step out in the street and look at it. They're walking up the street and looking straight in the eye and not moving in the faster.
Yeah, it's as if they're saying, lick me now.
Hit me, just look
Lick
straight in
me.
the eye. You see what is happening to these people?
Mm-hmm.
You know why? But I don't know why. It's worrying. It's very worrying. But I think the fact that these riders are not using these safety gears, they should realize it. It should be said on the news that these people without helmet and without safety gears.
Yes, yes.
That's all I'm saying. Thank you very much.
All right, Chevy. Yeah. Often when we see the unfortunate images from some of these fatal crashes, or many of them actually, the motorcyclists, no helmets seen, and they're in slippers.
Yeah, man.
Slippers, no proper shoes.
Slip off, cut off foot,
shorts, marina.
Yeah, man. A marina and thing. So when they get lick off of that, man. Or sometimes when even them just drop off,
Yeah.
The bruise up for them getting on, the broke up boat. My thing is, and Tana just can't understand it. Me just think bike not don't make it, Me not think bike don't make it. Because me not ride that. I'ma feel like the first time we crash off of one, but just never gonna take it back up again. But there's just this love for it. And I mean, even if there's a love for it, for whatever reason, good God, man, you can at least be careful and wear some protective gear and your helmet and all of that.
But that's all that's needed, for people to just ride safely, because bikes are important.
But they will tell you as well that they're not buy a bike for ride and, then buy a bike for the speed of it and to enjoy it. And have you ever seen them on the highway? Oh?
That's what. Can you turn on your? Where's your camera?
Well, oh, there's a camera around there for him now?
He had one.
Oh.
So listeners,
Well,
Jermaine is showing
better.
when he. Are you still a motorcyclist? No, not anymore.
Oh.
But
Because you're married.
what's that bike?
Good.
Yeah. What they call those bikes? It's not a yang
A
yang.
Wumba bike, that?
Listeners. It's
Wumba
not
bike?
a yang yang.
What them call a bike there?
R6. The big yeah.
No, why would I want to ride a R6? Why? What? I just... Well, it makes them cool.
Prosperity.
I won't even repeat that.
Prosperity here on YouTube says, I don't want a vehicle to hit me. I love my life more
Exactly.
than insurance
It's just-
money. Speaking of those people jaywalking all the time.
Well,
You see them in Halfway Tree and the other town centers here in the city. Oh my goodness.
you know what grinds my gears? Them wait until the light turn on green and then them step out another road.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes. And the taxi man them too. Them stop anyway, you know. If you say let me have this, then just stop. Absolutely. They are a menace. Say that without apology. They are a menace. Good morning, Dwayne.
Good morning.
What's up? What's on your mind?
You know, I know my friend, you see, was hit off a bicycle in Florida. And this retired Army general just went up to the machine and we do 300 years and give it to him and just drive off. And when we spoke to him, he was a bit shaken up, but not seriously injured. The bike was mashed up though. The bicycle rather. And we tell him, but you should the license number and get some more thing, but because the man knew how serious it was, he makes sure that go to the ATM machine, draw the change and give it to him and almost move. But he never took anything down. When you're riding and you look behind you sometimes, you see all maybe 10, 15 vehicles behind you because they're not passing you until they see you clear. In Jamaica is not so. You're riding on the taximen, the bus drivers, they will just hit you off your bicycle or your bike and nothing happens, just the norm. You know, one thing I would like to, you see, is that when you are riding a bike, you should stay behind the vehicle. That should be a law in Jamaica. You don't drive, you're riding your bike and you come between the vehicles. And sometimes it is so near that sometimes you can't get all your mirror hit off. And by the time they hit your mirror, you don't see them gone. I think that we are not serious when it comes to laws and restrictions as it relates to our roads. Anything in Jamaica with the stock? Hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Yeah, I think we just talk. Because it is easy. Why should a bike man behind me? And he what they do now, I mean, if you notice, they will pass you, go in front of you, look to see if anything come from the other side of the road, and I'm just stop right and gone with them business.
That's absolutely true.
I saw that more than anything else because bike does not stop at stoplights anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I think the government and those who are responsible need to, I know they have a lot of things at them hands to do, but they need to look at this. Bike does not stop at stoplights anymore. Right? I was coming up after you Hopewood maybe about 2 months ago, and 3 bike was riding on the opposite side coming up. They were on the right side coming up on Hope Road, right up to coming up to Devon House there. And they stood there and they just watch and just go and go with them business. And I was saying to people today that it seems as if when they do this thing, no police was never always around. Hold them to what they need to do, quickly deal with the camera.
Yeah.
Where you get the license
the
number,
automated ticket.
send it to their mail, send it to their email, and charge them. Move fines from their license. And do something, we can't continue with this. It is getting too serious, man. How people drive on the road, you have a single lane. And the single lane now becomes a dual. Because they created it into one. We have the police, come Mullins with in the morning. Come Mullins with in the morning. You're right, you're driving, and they do whatever they want to take. So if you're even the line, you suffer because bus drivers and whosoever does pass you, cut cross you, and they do just about anything that they choose to do. And what happens? Nothing. We're not serious about laws. The laws in Jamaica should change. So the bikers should stay behind the vehicle. No bikers should pass you, between you. They must stay behind like in America. Can't overtake you just like that. Unless they see a space on the other side to overtake you like a car.
I think I don't think it will be legislation that's the issue, you know. I think it's more enforcement. That would have to be that's the issue actually. It's not legislation, it's the enforcement.
You're talking about that here, and I think you need to speak a little louder.
I'm saying it's not legislation that's the issue. It would have to be it's an enforcement issue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an enforcement issue.
But whatever we need to do, sir, we need to do it. It doesn't make sense. You have vehicles in some of the areas you go, you have a single lane vehicle, you have they making garage on one side of the road. You have to stop, put an indicator, wait. You can't pass.
And again, even with that issue, it's not a legislation issue. The regulations are there. It falls under the for example, the local municipalities. So if it's in Kingston, it's the KCMC. They're the ones that are supposed to ensure that those things aren't happening. But again,
you go right through
enforcement.
Jamaica.
Yes, man, right throughout Jamaica. Enforcement is the
where
issue.
a single lane where the one vehicle alone can hardly navigate the area. But
Yeah,
you
man.
still have 3-4 old vehicles not using park on the right and the left hand side. And when you go in that vehicle, you wonder now. and you know
But
when
some road them even double park.
Hello?
Some roads they even double park on. And again,
Yes.
legislation is there. That's all this is, the enforcement.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one more thing. I'm wondering, you see, when we talk about roads in Jamaica, and I always call and talk about Spanish Town Road need to be rectified, marked properly, and it is not being done. And the Prime Minister spoke about Boulevard, and I heard him saying thing about Spanish Town Road. But it's really, to me, it is, I can't find a word to express it, or I felt when I have to drive on Spanish Town Road. You know, I just do not like to drive on it too bumpy, holy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even. And there's no, you have to judge your line. There's no marking, proper marking,
That is
nothing
true.
at all.
That
and
is
I'm
true.
wondering, do they not have a supervisor who go and look at the roads and give them a report that this road needs to be fixed, this have 10 potholes? Is that's something like that?
Yes.
I'm just wondering.
Yes, of course. The assessments of roads are always done.
So why is
But
it
as
that
to why
people
they're
can't do it like
inactive in fixing them, you know, I don't know.
Why, Tanya, sometimes I feel like being a Jamaican, are the worst thing that ever happened to a human being.
No, man, not say that,
You know how we are
man.
treated?
Not say that. Not say that. Not say that. Not say that.
Yes. Why I want to like that? Why people just do what they want to feed? They do you paying the taxes? Why things are like that?
I understand your
have that feeling
frustration.
That to be a Jamaica, the worst thing could happen to a human being because of how we are treated as taxpayers. That's my feeling. But they are looking out for your interest. People are just dying on the road, pothole, wriggled. Nothing is being done properly. People don't do what they feel like to. Feel how you must feel. I can't say anything better than that, sir.
I see.
But I see every day. If you don't want me to think that way, then make it have a radical change must be made, and do it rapidly too. So too much, man. Every roads are like this. People don't do what they want to do. They park on the left, then park in the middle, and stop in the road. Your driver, man, just stop in front of you, and you have to wait until him done talk in front before he move. No respect.
Hear you.
Thank you anyway.
Hear you.
Honestly.
Take care, Richard. Good.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:31.
A time to double up your savings. This are the boost that you've been awaiting. Put it towards the dreams you've been chasing. Double up your savings. Double up.
Save so you can win in the Jan Bank Double Up Your Savings promotion. You could be one of 5 lucky quarterly winners to walk away with double the money you put in your savings account. Conditions apply.
Double up your savings.
Check our website and social media for details. Jan Bank will help you find a way. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Need equipment rental, repair, or sales? The Contractor Center has you covered. We also offer epoxy installation, stamp concrete, and construction chemicals, serving commercial, industrial, construction, and residential industries. Don't let everyday challenges hold you back. Visit us at 26 Shortwood Road or online at contractorcenterja.com or call 876-968-4816. Tax and You is brought to you by the Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
It's 8:32, and of course, you know, it's that time for tax, and your property taxes for 2024-25 became due on April 1st. Do you have questions about property taxes? If the answer is yes, then you're at the right place, because we're going to go through some of the frequently asked questions about property tax, and we're joined by Communications Officer in the Communications Branch of the TAJ, the Tax Administration Jamaica, Mr. Leighton Beckles. Good morning, Mr. Beckles.
Morning, Said, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm
good morning.
I'm good, man. And you?
I am doing very well.
Good
we
stuff.
are in April, a new month, and with a new month, talking about property taxes, my friend.
Property taxes.
Lots to get into for the month.
All right, so let's get into it now. First of all,
Said, I don't mean to cut you,
Mhm.
but you are sounding a little low. Is there any way it can be adjusted on your side?
well, I don't know what else to do.
Okay, much better now.
Okay. So, what is property tax?
So, property tax really is a tax that is collected to take care of municipal service. We're talking about the garbage collection. We're talking about street light facilities, maintenance of these municipal services. And this is why persons, inevitably and essentially pay property tax, because it goes towards the various municipal corporations doing their bit to ensure that persons have these everyday services. Sometimes we don't even think about it, Said, but we go out there and we see, our waste disposal personnel, taking up the garbage. We see the street lights, we see the LED street lights going in, that kind of thing. So some of these things that we really don't think about, and there are areas that it is funded, and the municipal corporations do their bit to ensure persons have that service.
So these monies are remitted to the different municipal corporations for them to do these services in the local areas.
Right. And may I just say that Tax Administration Jamaica's focus in this particular activity is that we are the revenue collection agency, or the premier state collection agency. So any of these fees or fines or taxes are collected by us, which is why we would have sent out most recently our call to, wider Jamaica, and not just Jamaicans in country and aside, but we're talking about our members in the diaspora. Persons that it is now time to pay property tax, which became due April 1. Now, I think you may wonder, okay, so it's a became due. What do we mean by that? So it's pretty simple. So property tax, unlike many of our other taxes, does not have a specific deadline. In the sense, income tax filers, as we had spoken about sometimes, they had until March 15 to file their income tax returns. You not filing that return means that a penalty is automatically applied. For property tax, it becomes due, and this is very important for persons to know, it becomes due on April 1. So that's April 1, 2024. It becomes due, but persons have up until April 30, 2024 to make the payments without any penalties being applied. So they go on the system, which you can, jamaicatax.gov.jm, or download our mobile application in the Google Play Store, and you can input your number, your property tax number, and once you input that, it will bring up all the liabilities going 7 years back that is required for you to pay. Now, once you check that, side has between now and April 30 to make the payments. And that's why we say it became due on April 1. So you have up until now up until between April 1 and April 30 to make the payments without any penalties being applied. And it's important for persons to know that the tax amounts have not been changed. So what you paid last year, you're paying this year. So persons can expect to see that on the system, because our systems there is what is known as a property tax run. That's done in the background, and that is what uploads the new information, the new tax liabilities information into the system for persons to be able to ascertain how much do I need to pay this year and where can I pay it.
Okay. All right. So, having heard all of that, we want to find out now who really pays the property tax. Because everybody lives somewhere. But is everybody pay the property taxes? Who must pay the property tax?
Right. Well, we're looking at property owners primarily. Anybody who is responsible for a property, operating a business on their property, they are responsible for paying property taxes. In some cases, there are some persons who are renters. Depending on what is in their rental agreement, they may be the persons asked to pay the property tax. So depending, because I do know of cases where some landlords will say, I will take care of the property taxes. So you just pay me the rent, I'll take care of the property taxes. Added to that, for more detailed information about the specific groups of persons who pay property tax, the persons who are able to get relief from property tax, because that is another important part, There are specific organizations, charities, I believe churches, schools that are able to get relief or exemptions from paying property tax. But there is a process, my friend. So persons are able to visit either our website, jamaicatax.gov.jm. They can call us also at 888-829-4357, or they may visit the Ministry of Local Government's website to get some more information on how you can go about accessing the relief or the exemptions. We also have what is known on our website, that's Tax Administration Jamaica, what is known as a property tax hub. So all these questions that Saeed may have, his listeners may have, even after this segment is finished, they are able to go to our income tax hub and to just get everything there is to know about property tax.
All right.
Where you pay, relief, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, like you're there, we're going to go and, find out some other information from you.
That is your taxpayer dollars, baby, right? Of course.
Right. So tell me now, how do you calculate how much property tax someone pays?
Well, there is a system that is used by the luminaries who are way more versed at this than I am. But there is a formula that is used between the Ministry of Local Government and the National Land Agency, where they work out how much it is that is to be paid for property taxes. But I'm happy, and persons can get that information from either of these entities, whether the Ministry of Local Government or the National Land Agency, as to exactly how my property tax is calculated. But what persons need to remember is that property tax is levied on the unimproved value of the land. You know what that means, Saeed? That means that we're just talking about the bare land. So nothing else that you have put up on it, etc., is looked at in terms of the calculation. It's the unimproved value of the land, right? One of the things that we want to encourage persons or to impress upon persons is that you spoke about how are my property taxes calculated, which means that you're naturally going to go to the stage of making payments. Now, Tax Administration Jamaica, as the authority responsible for collecting property tax payments, provides taxpayers with a whole suite of services or options to make payments. So they can make their payments using any debit card, any credit card or debit card with credit card facilities on our website, jamaicatax.gov.jm. For persons who are Scotiabank clients or NCB clients, they are able to add Tax Administration Jamaica as a payee through their banking platform. So they don't have to come through our platform. Or they can use our mobile app. Now, mind you, Said, I'm not sure if you are an Android or Apple man.
Apple.
But you're an Apple.
Yeah.
Well, you have some time to wait before we can roll out the property tax app for your side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
But for Android users, they just need to visit the Play Store and download the app there. And the beautiful thing about the app is that you can access payments, you can search for your property details by valuation and strata number. You can view and share the payment history. You can even locate the closest tax office to you. So if you side is a man where, boy, you're not so hot on the geography, but you know you need to pay a property tax, and you want to visit a tax office or you need additional support, the app has got your back. The app is able to tell you, sorry, the closest tax office to you is at that point. And you're also able to view the latest headlines from Tax Administration Jamaica as it concerns anything you need to know about property tax, whether there are rate changes, specific dates that you need to be aware of, etc. So persons have some options to make payments using their property tax. One of the things that we have partnered with the Ministry of Local Government is the rollout of our mobile tax collection units. Now, in simple language, my friend, it simply means that we provide services on the road via our buses. And persons are able to make payments whether in cash, whether in debit or credit card, and debit card with credit card facilities. And we go into specific communities. Now, these schedules are usually available on our social media pages. Persons can get that there as to where next in Jamaica we are taking property tax services to, or they may visit the Ministry of Local Government's website to ascertain what the schedule of the bus is.
Very well. Well, I think I don't want to give them information overload, so we're going to stop there for this morning.
All right, Saeed.
But thank you so much for the information, Sir Beckles.
You are most welcome. And before I go, just quickly want to say, in making payments, don't bother bust your brain and say, boy, I have to pay all of this now. Persons have the option to make the payment in full, half-yearly, or quarterly installment.
Wow.
So, make things
and once you do it in that way, you don't incur any interest?
Exactly. You will not, as long as you keep the schedule that you started.
Okay. And do you have to sign up specifically for the schedule, or you just
No,
pay?
You just pay.
I see.
Yes.
Good. That's Mr. Leighton Beckles, Communications Officer in the Tax Administration Jamaica office. That's Tax and Due.
Tax and You was brought to you by the Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better.
Stand out among competitors. Show your commitment to quality. Submit your entry in the Bureau of Standards Jamaica National Quality Awards Program. Your entry provides the opportunity for a free comprehensive assessment of your organization's management system and facilitates improvement in effectiveness and efficiency. This prestigious award associates your organization with performance excellence. Step into a world of excellence. Gain access to international markets. Enter today.
Call 618-1534. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica, making standards work for you.
I fell asleep late last night, and I dreamed of the night and almost half the day away. I just got up so that I could hear her say she's still in love, and no one could take her love away. Ooh, love wakes me up every day, and I thought no one could ever make me feel this way. It fills me up every time I hear her say she's still in love, and no one could take her love away. I wanna be loved. There's nothing
better than love. What in the world could you ever be thinking of? It's better by far.
So let yourself reach for that star and go no matter how far to the one you love, to love. And I mean all these words I've said.
That time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary over on Facebook. Happy birthday greetings going out to Shireen, Brian, Eulalie Cunningham Clark. Is this Sahida? Sahida Beckford. Happy birthday to you, Sahida. Happy birthday as well to Judette Raymond. It's the birthday as well of Anne-Marie Brown. Happy birthday, Anne-Marie. Happy birthday as well to Angela Martin. Brianne Bella Blue. Happy birthday to you. And happy birthday as well to Tracy and Gordon. Celebrating her birthday today. Hope you have a really good one. And hopping on over to the YouTube chat. Is there anybody who's celebrating a birthday today or an anniversary? Do let us know.
You know, somebody just asked if I sing on the choir. Not anymore. I'm retired. But me used to sing on the choir, man.
You used to sing on the choir?
Yep. I'm going to go to church every Saturday, you know. I don't miss church. I used to sing on the choir. I used to sing on the children's choir, actually.
So I'm put you in the back.
Yeah, man. And no. In fact, I forgot to tell a story. I call like out Tana, so I sing at the back. I sang lead for one of the song them. Yeah, because before the people did the kiki, my voice could you know.
I'm so shocked.
No, big man thing. I would tell a lie about church. Big man thing. Wow, King.
Everybody says some people have standards.
In fact, I remember the song that I led was Hezekiah Walker, God Favors Me. I would start the song to the point where no,
we want to hear.
No, that was our younger days. Remember now, puberty.
I remember puberty. Find the song.
No, never mind.
Find the song.
Find the love song. Find another Luther Van just and play the foot. Rap this out. No, what big man thing. Yeah, and then when we just sing the song, you know. It was so good that when church done, we have to sing it again. I'm not lying. Literally. We're not telling a lie. No. I would not be so mendacious. No. Big one thing.
Go on now. Sing Breathless.
I don't even know this song.
Find the lyrics. He knows it.
First of all, King, you're wicked.
You know it.
This song is not my key.
Oh?
You have to sing a song that's on your key. You see me? You see, I said to watch I set me up, you know. And besides that, my voice take a time for warm up. Usually after 10 o'clock there about. So
now you know. Now you know.
No, but big man thing. We used to go sing, man. I did look at puberty, you know, give me deep voice now. I can't sing so again. Which song this?
You already know what song it is.
You just want to share them with the Tana.
Go on now.
We don't know that song, yeah?
You do.
Oh.
You hear him?
I'm not familiar with this song. I heard all the we can't let them know it again. No. But big man thing.
We're gonna have to call Said's mom.
I'm gonna sing a song for. But no, serious thing. My mother not gonna tell the life for me. My mother not tell life for me.
To call your mom.
Huh? We can song today. When we sing every time we're there, we sing. To the point where even when they are on the road and people see me, them saying, Said, no, stick to the talking part. No, but a big man thing.
Listen.
No, I'm coming on the lyrics to that song, man. I'm big and serious. Tana, give them a song they don't know.
But it seems you don't know any.
No. Alright, tomorrow my boss at tune.
He's gonna go home and
Tana, you know say Selassie not pleased with you at all. Selassie is not pleased with you at all, Tana. You know if you do the iron like that. Nah, sir. King, you know the song them I'm know King. You have to play one of them song there.
Oh, he knows Bruno Mars. Yeah. Find him a Bruno Mars.
What Bruno Mars which can I hide?
Here you know. Joan Samuels, in the meantime, is sending happy birthday greetings to Veron Woodburn. Happy birthday to you, Veron, from Joan. Hope you have a really good day as well.
Somewhere far away, I want you back. What's the song name again? I want you back. What's the song name?
What's the name of the song? Musical Maestro.
Yeah. They don't
Talking
understand. You're all I had. Watch your style, you know. At night when the... So you lock off. I sit by myself, talking to the moon, trying to get to you. But I'm not a fool who sits alone talking to the moon. Wait a minute, if I beat recording, I want to sing off. Why not test me?
He has regained confidence. But
I've gone mad.
You're not done yet.
They say I've gone mad, but they don't know what I know. 'Cause when the sun goes down, someone's talking back. Yeah, they're talking back. Oh. Anyways, wrap the show now. I can't manage this right about now. This song is still out of my key, but I'm just show them some versatile. You see me?
So all the people who are celebrating their birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
Would you run and never look back? Would you cry if you saw me crying? Would you save my soul tonight?
Would you tremble
if I touched your lips? Oh, please tell me this. I want you to be I said to the one you love. Hold me in your arms tonight. You're gonna tell her no, you're gonna tell her. I can be your hero, baby.
Alright.
I might key this, and I can kiss away her tears. I can stand by you forever. Yeah, I'm tell her no. You can't take my breath away.
Okay.
I'm gonna take myself from the show.
Would you swear that you'll always
Once and for all. One side, never two.
Never two. That's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, the big show. Thanks so much
by
for
the way,
technical
Tony, I have a
operation.
pause. My church mother, she sent a message, see and a lie. She said, good morning, please tell your co-host that you don't lie. We'll find the pic from church and send.
Wow. We need it.
Wrap the show now.
We need
and a lie
it.
me I tell.
Alright, big up this outside.
Yeah, they know.
Jermaine said I'm just like you're a nice little boy at church. Alright, singer, one side, number two. Thanks so much to our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King. Thanks to our super producer for this morning, Sonia Stewart, and get well soon, Michelle, our original producer. Thanks as well to our editor, Kimon Thompson, and our deputy executive editor, as well as our co-host, George Davis. Yeah, he's in the newsroom this morning. Up next, you have the Consumer Hour with Norgie Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana Thomas.
I'm Said Bernard.
Good morning.
Good morning.
would you run? Am I in too deep?
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
I don't care, you're here tonight. I can be your hero, baby.
and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
The government has